Nah, I didn't see you there. Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to yet another iteration, another episode of the Dog Cooking Stream. I hope you're all having a beautiful Friday. I hope you're having a beautiful Friday today. Also, thank you so much to Jib for the Prime sub. Thank you so much. Hello, Dosky. Hello to Jack as well. I saw Eliam in chat. I saw John as well. There's a whole bunch of you in here today. Hello. I'm happy to see all of you. Welcome on in. Hope you're all having an excellent Friday today. I'm pretty excited about today's stream. We'll get into what we're doing in a second. First things first. First and foremost, I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, if you're excited to watch the stream today. Today's going to be a fairly exciting one. We're going to be doing something kind of new, but something still kind of within my original skill set. Also, hello to Asto, and hello to Dolingo has my family, as always, and hello to Catman. Welcome on in. And Luija? I believe that's you, Tag. I believe that's how you say it. Okay, hi. And to Liam. Welcome on in. So, my friends, everybody, a couple streams ago, I forgot which stream it was, we made mapo tofu on stream, where we basically had some pork and we fried it up, we like stir-fried it, and we added a bunch of Sichuan peppercorns, and we did it with like some tofu and some like dark soy sauce and stuff, and I really, really loved the flavor profile of mapo tofu. I really love the flavor profile of mapo tofu, and I was like, okay, I kind of want a pork dish that just resembles that, but also has a little bit of inspiration from Cumin lamb noodles. At a place called like Sean Famous Foods that's in New York, there's a very popular dish called like the hand-pulled like Cumin lamb noodles that they do, and I just really, really love that, especially like in Chinese cooking, having like a very aggressive, earthy amount of cumin. And I was like, wait, I feel like we're gonna make a really delicious dish here. And so this is going to be basically the mapo tofu sans tofu, with the addition of a couple of other spices, with the addition of cumin, and just really amping it up on the pork, okay? It's a sad day for the Culinary Society is on the internet, but at least Dara is back. What do you mean? What happened, boys? What happened with the Culinary Society on the internet today? I don't know. Did I miss something? Okay, well, regardless. So we're going to be doing some of that, and then we'll also do a seasoned coriander rice. And so my friends, for the ground pork, I have this beautiful ground pork. Okay, well, for the stir-fried pork. Oh, that's right, Linja passed away. That's right, it's a tragedy. I have heard. I was confused for a second. It's a bit of a tragedy. Okay, how do I transition back into talking about pork after talking about that? I'm not really sure how. I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay, guys, ground pork. I have about a pound of ground pork here. And you may notice the texture of it. It is exceptionally coarse. There's a bunch of like little pearls of ground pork. This isn't your average supermarket like ground pork or ground beef that's been made into a paste. This has a good amount of texture to it, okay? This is sort of the texture that you would see a lot used for stuff like dumpling fillings as well, like nice and chunky, like almost like a hand chop, but just like really, really coarse grind. If you can't get it, I'm sure, you know, supermarket ground pork or beef will do an okay job instead. If you can, ask for coarsely ground pork. Also, I paid $1.89 a pound for this in the year 2023. You know how crazy that is? It's pretty crazy. I'm very proud about it. I'm very happy with it. Also, thank you so much to Shark Dog. Okay, so we have a pound of ground pork, nice and coarse. It's going to stir fry beautifully. And then the second half of it, I wanted some really, really big chunks of scallion, my friends. So I have a whole bunch of scallions right here that have already been washed up, and we're going to trim them up and get them ready. I want big chunks of scallion. I don't want just like sliced scallion, but I want to bite into like a properly fried piece of scallion amongst all the pork. So this is basically a pork and scallion stir fry that we're going to do. And then, my friends, we have all of these beautiful spices that I'm going to talk about in a second. We always work from whole spices in the stream, okay? We have a bunch of whole cumin. We have a bunch of whole cumin seeds. We're going to toast it. We're going to grind it up. I have a little bit of white peppercorns as well. I also have some Sichuan peppercorns for the numbing. The coriander, or the white pepper, excuse me, to give it like a little bit of funk. It's like a spice that you want to use very sparingly in Chinese cooking, but I really love the flavor that it gives off. It has like a lot of oomph. And then of course, my friends, some whole coriander seeds. So we're gonna toast it up. We're going to make a really, really beautiful spice blend out of all of that. In addition, here's my flavoring components. So for the stir fry, we have some dark soy sauce. It's gonna be pretty essential. We also have some Shaoxing wine. Kind of technically Liaoju. Not really traditional Shaoxing, but here in the United States, Liaoju and Shaoxing are kind of used interchangeably. And all the Shaoxing that you buy is basically Liaoju. Which is basically just a type of cooking wine. It's super salty. And then we also have, right, some of the chili bean sauce. This was an essential component when we were making the mapo tofu. So we're going to use some of this in here as well because I really want to try to emulate some of the flavor profile of the mapo tofu. And then I also have some chili crisp, some Laogan Ma, my friends. Okay, so we're filling this bad boy up. It's gonna be full of flavor, it's gonna be full of scallions, it's gonna be full of the spices, it's gonna be, you know, it's not gonna be like in a sauce. I'm not envisioning this necessarily to be in a sauce. I just kind of want this to be more of like a dry fry style. I want the pork to just be nicely seasoned, and then it'll be like a light sauce. We're gonna thicken it with cornstarch, but we don't want it to be like particularly soupy today, okay? And then for the rice, as always, my friends, I have a beautiful jar of haiga rice. Okay, everybody, you've heard me do this rant a million times. I'm trying to replace white rice in my home kitchen. I want to use haiga rice, you know, because it has the germ intact. It is essentially between white rice and brown rice. It has a germ intact and the bran shaved off. So it has a much better texture than brown rice, but still has some of the fiber and still has some of the original nutritional value. Okay, so I love this stuff. I really love this stuff. Okay. And we're going to be doing a seasoned coriander rice, my friends. So this is another one of those essential components. I want to talk to you all about the inspiration of this dish. I had in my fridge a bunch of cilantro, a bunch of coriander. They're the same thing, just different cultures call them different things. I have a bunch of cilantro from when we did the tlacoyos on Wednesday, okay? And so I wanted to incorporate this both into the rice. When I was doing a bit of Indian food, what I did was I did a coriander rice. I made like a seasoned paste out of it and I folded it in. And then I was going to finish the pork stir fry with the coriander. Again, I'm taking a lot of inspiration from like the lamb cumin noodles, which would also get finished with some fresh cilantro at the end. So it's going to be really, really delicious. We're going to have a lot of herbs. We're going to have a lot of spices. It's going to be super flavorful today. And hopefully it all works out. I have two main sources of inspiration, but mostly this is my own dish. This is a dish of my own creation today, so I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about how it goes. So, everybody, without further ado, I have one big question. Is everybody ready for today? You know what I want to hear. You know exactly what I want to hear. And then we'll do a little bit of housekeeping. We'll do a little bit of housekeeping really quickly after that. Oh, lovely. I'm so happy to see all of you. And also, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you're watching this on the YouTube VODs as well, it's lovely to have you. Okay. So, my friends, a little bit of housekeeping. Groceries are expensive. If you can and you are able to, I would like to help to continue to keep these streams free for everybody watching. You can type in !Patreon. You can scroll down. You can go into my About section. The Patreon will help to subsidize the cost of the groceries for me. It doesn't earn you any special privileges because I strongly don't believe in that, aside from there's a separate private Discord. We have a community Discord and we have a private Discord. And the private Discord is just, you get to talk with me more, but you're not going to get any specialized content or anything because I want to make sure that all of the information on the stream is accessible for everybody. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for putting up with the shilling for a second. Just wanted to get through with that portion. And now, let's talk about the order of operation of everything. So, the most important thing in something like a stir fry, repeat after me, prep, prep, prep. You have to get all of your prep done. And the most important little tool that I'm going to have to help me with prep is this bad boy right here. Look at this. You know what these are? Little condiment bowls that I got as a gift from my mom. Okay? These bad boys. So these bad boys, they're going to help keep everything organized, and they're going to help us to know what is the order of things that have to go inside. I love these things. Yes, that's right, Russian nesting bowls. Essentially the same idea. Okay, so we're going to have to prep the garlic, we have to prep the ginger, we have to prep the scallions, we have to make the seasoning paste for the rice, we have to wash the rice, we have to get everything ready for the stir fry. The prep is going to take the longest, and the actual cooking portion is going to take a very small amount of time. And so, my friends, I believe we can begin. Also, hello to Grimpy Coffee. Welcome in. I have my cutting board already set up. I have my knife set up. I did not have my bench scraper set up quite yet. Where is it? Lovely. Okay, so we need a couple of things. We need a few things here. We're going to do the scallions a few different ways. Okay, the scallions are not all going to be prepared the same exact way. We want to have some big pieces. So like, you know what I was really imagining? I was just like imagining like the texture of like a sauteed leek, or like inside a beef negimaki or something, like a really big piece of scallion. And so I want sauteed scallions. I don't want them just diced up or like really, really finely sliced. I want some big chunks of it. So, my friends, I have a whole bunch of scallions here that I've washed up. And first, let's get preparing the ones for sauteing. Okay, we're going to use all of the scallion whites purely for sauteing reasons. All of these purely for sauteing, my friends. Okay, so all we have to do, we're just going to cut off the root ends of all of these scallions. And these you can use to make a stock usa. Oh, yeah. I don't like to use a hair tie in the kitchen. I hate the feeling of hair ties. I hate having a ponytail on. It's quite unpleasant to me. I do not like it. I'm not a fan. Okay. So I'm gonna get these scallion butts out of here. Now, think about the kinds of chunks of scallion that you would actually want in a stir fry like this. And for me personally, I want to really feel the scallions. Okay? I want to really feel the scallions. And so we're going to intentionally keep them quite big. So I'm looking at this amount. I want all of these scallions to go into the pork stir fry. And these are just the whites that we're going to saute, and we're going to finish it with some of the greens. This is how much scallion I want. This whole bundle of scallions, my friends. Okay? Beautiful. And that is the stuff that's going to get sauteed with the pork. It's going to get nice and fried. And I want to be able to bite into it. You know, I want to be able to pick it up with some chopsticks. I really want that. And now we have the second portion of the scallions here. So some of this is going to go into the pork, and some of this is going to go into the rice, and the rest of it is going to be used for garnishing reasons, okay? So I want big blades. I want some big blades of scallions to actually go into the pork stir fry once it's finished. Okay? So let's get about this many. Again, guys, I'm not measuring. Also, welcome on Enzio. Hello to Gravit as well. And by the way, if anybody has any questions at any moment, please feel free to drop it in chat and I will answer it. Okay. So, my friends, with all these scallions, I want some big blades. And I want to get a very pretty angle on this. This is the stuff that's going to get folded in at the end. And we're getting a lot of different textures and tastes of scallions this way. So, we're going in out of huge bias. We're getting these beautiful blades like the shrapnel of scallion. We're going nice and slow as we need to. And take a look. Take a look at these bad boys. Look at that. Excellent. I feel like that's going to make for a very pretty garnish. Or just like very pretty once it's all folded in. You can't have too many scallions, my friends. That is an aggressive angle. You're absolutely right. That is 100% an aggressive angle. But that's okay. That's what I'm going for. So just keep going, my friends. Keep processing all of these lovely little scallions. Oop. My bundle started falling apart a little bit. I'm going to have to just take it all back together. Hello, Turuban. Welcome on in. Or Turuban. Sorry if you mispronounced your tag. I do apologize. Okay. And we're going. And we're going, and we're getting it done. Nice big aggressive blades. And we're going to have some scallions that get folded into the rice at the end. Guys, you can't have too many scallions. Okay? You just cannot. I love loading up my food with it. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab my bench scraper once again. Let's grab it all up. Actually, maybe we can't have too many scallions. Guys, I'm looking at the sheer quantity of scallions going into this today. This is all just for the pork. What do you guys think? Is this going to be too much? You know what? We're going to fill it up. We're going to fill it up, and we're going to see how much it takes. And then for the rice itself, I don't care about having such aggressive blades. I just want some scallions that I can easily fold in. Okay. So we don't need too much for the scallions themselves. And then we're just going to cut these in half. We're going to bundle all of them up together, my friends. And then we're going to get nice thin slices. This I don't care about getting it into shrapnel. This is just going to get folded into the rice. And yes, this is a beautiful knife handle. It is really lovely. Okay. Nice thin slices, nice thin coins, my friends. Almost done. Chef, why do we not chop it? We slice the veggies? Jack, I feel like that is a bit of a rhetorical question. You know that we're not trying to crush the scallions. We're not trying to crush the cells. We want to keep them beautiful. We want to keep them intact. We want to keep them full of life and keep them nice and springy. We never chop things on the stream. Never. Also, hello to your ears pricked up. Oof. Guys, let me tell you, the pungency is really good at coming through. Okay, and now, guess what? We have completed our scallion prep for today. That's all of the prep that we needed to do for these bad boys. Okay? So take a look. This is what we have. So, we have 3 completely different textures of scallions. We ask for 3 completely different textures of scallions, my friends. So take a look. These are the scallions that are going to get properly fried, stir-fried alongside the pork. I want these to get really nice and soft, but I want to get a nice bite out of it. These scallions are going to go towards the end of the pork, right? It's just going to get folded and mixed up at the end, and we want to keep these mostly raw. And these are going to go into the rice. Okay, so we're able to show off a lot about the scallions here, and we're going to keep some of this for garnishing reasons as well. All of these scallions, okay, all of them are going to be used and implemented today, my friends. You can't have too many scallions. Okay. Yes, slicing veggies is not only just more satisfying, it's also better. Because guys, remember, okay, I want to explain this to you. For anybody that's new here, we don't chop on the stream. We exclusively slice, and I'm going to explain to you why. Let's say you were going to chop something, and it only uses this much surface area of the knife, and you keep chopping it. You're only dulling one portion of the knife. You're only dulling one portion of the knife. The rest of it becomes unused, one part of it becomes dull, it's completely uneven. Second of all, when you're chopping something, you're cleaving it like an axe. You crush more cells on the way down than if you were to use the full length, than if you were to slice it all the way through. Now, of course, this is a general rule of thumb. There are some things that you don't really care about in that regard, but for the most part, we try to slice everything here. The number one mistake I see people do, especially they watch like, I don't know, restaurant prep cooks, they're like, oh, let's chop this, and they go vertically. And it's nonsense. It's nonsense. You're only using a tiny portion of your knife, and you're cleaving it, and you're not even getting a nice cut that way. My friends, we slice here. We slice here. We're not choppers, okay? I'm gonna have a little sip of water. Lovely. Okay, let's go ahead and set that aside. Now I'm gonna set that behind me. Next step, my friends. Next step. We're going to need some garlic and we're going to need some ginger. We're going to need these in both the scallions. And we're going to need, in the rice, excuse me, and into the stir fry itself. Okay? So, here's my thing for the rice. Everybody, for a lot of, I see like people do like seasoned rices and pilafs and stuff. They try to fry everything together and then they cook everything together. And then on the bottom, you get like a very burnt layer of stuff. I like to make my seasoning paste and mix it into the rice after it's cooked. Okay? So it's gonna be really good. Okay, many maybe they have experience from staying home sick from school and binging cooking shows. Boys, that's what I did as a kid. That's what I did as a kid. As a kid, I was sick. Oh my God, I've never been read so hard in my life. Whoa. I've actually never been so read so hard in my life. Okay, so as a kid, I was sick a lot. I missed a lot of school for a variety of reasons. I would binge cooking shows in my free time, especially YouTube cooking shows, and they all suck. They're all mostly bad. And so over time, I've learned to stop necessarily listening to them, but then also critiquing them and building up, and building up like my own sense. So I used to absorb a lot of information, then I realized so much of that information is flawed. And now I'm trying to do things a little bit differently. I'm trying to create what I think is good content and the right, accurate information. So that was a really good guess, boys. I have no idea how you got that, but you got it. Okay, so my friends, for the garlic, we're going to peel it over a bowl really quickly. Also, hello, Axe. Welcome on in. We're going to peel this over the bowl so the papery skins don't get on the cutting board or anything. Okay, and we want plenty of garlic. Okay, this is gonna be for both the rice and for the stir fry. You can't really have too much garlic. I love garlic. Right. So that's in total about 4 big cloves. In fact, I might even do I have another head somewhere? I do have another head somewhere. Good. I'm going to do maybe 2 more cloves in total, or 3 cloves. Again, I really want to be able to perfume the whole thing with garlic. Okay, great. That's all done. And now we have to work on the ginger. So, my friends, I think people like overuse ginger sometimes when they're making Chinese food. In total, we're only going to need about this much ginger for both the rice and the actual stir fry cumulatively. I don't like having too much ginger for this, okay? And the majority of it is actually going to go into the stir fry. This I'm going to go ahead and put into my fridge. And of course, my friends, we have a trusty garlic press ready. We'll talk about why we use that in just a moment. Does anybody have any questions thus far? Yes, guys, a little ginger goes a long way. Trust me, do not overdo it with the ginger. It can easily become your most powerful component, and it's not one that I'm interested in. Okay, my friends, little condiment bowl. This is going to be your best friend. This is actually going to be your best friend. This is going to help keep us nice and organized without taking up too much space or anything. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to glove up because ginger can be quite abrasive on your hands, and I got eczema. Let's do the ginger and the garlic, my friends. You ready? So, if you want to get your bonus little food points, you can use a spoon to peel your ginger. I do not do that. I think it's cringe. I just slice it off with my knife. And I try to go as thin as possible so I don't waste any of it. Also, welcome on in, Upendi. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. I try my best not to waste any of it, but I really, really don't like the spoon peeling method. I think it's clunky. I think it makes a bit of a mess. I would just rather use my knife, and I'm okay with wasting a little bit of it because, guys, ginger I buy for like a whole package for so cheap. This just does a better job for me. Okay, sweet. We have all this ginger. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stack it up vertically. Stack it up vertically, the best that we can at least. And try to give it a nice smash. Give it a nice little smash. And then we're going to just slice it into a bunch of thin little planks. Now, this is where using a large knife like this, it's a little unrealistic to use the full length of it in your slicing. Oh, you're Bulgarian boys? Super cool. Okay, yeah, so ideally for something like this, you would use a smaller knife. But I did not want to get one out today, so I'm just going to be using this. And now, we're going to stack it up, and we're going to get these into super fine batons. Okay, just going all the way through it, my friends. Lovely. Yes, I mean, and Jack, everything I try to do here is try to mitigate waste. You know, I do really try to mitigate a bunch of waste. Guys, look at how little that thing of ginger was and how much we actually are getting out of it. I promise you, you do not need as much ginger in cooking as you think. I find that people are like, oh, wow, this is an aromatic component that's used in Chinese cooking a lot, and then they completely overdo it, and it becomes like the most powerful component. It's not the way it should be done, my friends. Duolingo, you've asked me a very big question here. You've asked me, when shopping for veggies, what are the specific things that you're looking out for to make sure that you're getting a decent product? Duolingo, this is a very difficult question. This is going to be dependent on every single vegetable that you buy. There's some like universal like rules that I try to apply that I feel like I can't name any off the top of my head, but it would be a lot easier if you named a specific vegetable for me. Name a specific vegetable and I'll tell you about what you're kind of looking for out of it. Because you're looking for slightly different things out of every single one. Hope that helps. Well, not yet. I haven't helped yet. I need you to help me help you. So give me an example of one that you would like. Okay, we're just going to try to process this ginger a little bit more and we'll see what the texture is like after this. Because we want it nice and fine. We don't really want to bite into any pieces of ginger. We just want it to essentially flavor the rest of the dish. Or the dishes in this case, plural. Onions. Okay, Duolingo. So, here's the nice thing about onions. Onions are extremely forgiving. Onions are extremely forgiving. So, the only thing that you don't want in an onion, when you're buying an onion, is to see if it's sprouting out. If it looks like there's like a scallion essentially growing out of it. That tells you that the inside of it can be a little bit spoiled. The inside of it can be a little rotten, a little bit dried out. But otherwise, onions, every single onion that you'll typically get at a supermarket, even if they're kind of ugly on the outside, they'll look pretty good and they'll be pretty good once they're chopped up. Onions are very forgiving. How to store your groceries and cooked food if you have a small fridge? Achilles, that's a very difficult question. Make the most out of your freezer. Make the most out of your freezer. That's what I would do. I'd personally make the most out of your freezer and try to figure out how to really navigate that space. But I've not personally really lived in an area with a small kitchen before, so that is not something I feel necessarily as qualified to talk about. Try to get things that are shelf stable, things like rice, things like potatoes, things like onions that you don't have to keep in a fridge. Things like garlic, and try to keep like your fresh produce. Keep your fresh produce buying to a minimum and only buy as much as you need if you can for the days that you want to cook something. Otherwise, just keep a pantry of staples and you will have to go grocery shopping more often if you have a small kitchen with a small fridge. So, my friends, all of this ginger, beautiful, right? Let's go ahead, let's dump it into my little condiment bowl. And remember, the garlic and the ginger, they're going to get added at the same time, so we can add it into the same condiment bowl. I'm going to quickly wash off my knife because this is a carbon steel knife, and so I want to just keep it clean and dry it off often. just give that a little rinse, my friends. Sorry about that. Oof. So I love broccoli. Okay, great. Lampire asks me, so I love broccoli, but you're a little worried about wasting the stems. That's a really good question. I'm going to answer this for you. So here's the issue with stems and cooking stems. When you cook stems, they tend to be a little bit fibrous, they tend to be a little bit woody. You're going to take a peeler, you're going to take an ordinary vegetable peeler, and you're going to peel the outermost layer, like the really, really thick green layer, until you get to like the slightly yellower inside. And then you can basically treat that in any other portion where you would do broccoli, something like a pureed broccoli soup. Really, really delicious, really easy. Some people do pickled broccoli stems. I think that's way too much effort. I think you can saute it, you can char it, as long as you peel it. You peel it and then you can use it in stews, you can use it in soups, you can use it in any setting where you would normally use your regular broccoli. So just the most important tip I have for you is just to actually peel it. Okay. My friends, we're spending a lot of time here. Let's, wait, why is it so dark in my room? Did I not turn on all of the kitchen lights? Oh, okay. I didn't turn on all my living room lights, and I was like, whoa, what's happening here? Okay, let me go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, my friends, so as for the garlic, I take my trusty bench scraper. I don't use a knife for this. We're going to smash it all down. You know why? Because that separates the skin from the actual clove of the garlic. Smash it down, go through every single one of these. You guys have seen me do this a million times. We're going to keep on doing it. Smash it down, my friends. Smash it down. Take it. Huzzah. Okay, that one I'm probably going to have to re-smash. This just separates the skin from the clove itself. Okay? Now, traditionally, the way to peel it is you'd hold it in your hands and you would take like a paring knife and you'd be all French about it. Be like, oh, you have to peel the garlic this way. It's 2024. Okay, this is a much easier and much nicer way of doing it, my friends. Oh, there was a chef in Mexico that yelled at me for crushing my garlic. And you know what? He was great. He taught me quite a few things. I was not professionally trained. It was just like a class that I took. And he didn't yell at me. But I just know better. That's all. Yes, and we will be doing a garlic press. And Jack, I don't typically do infused oils. Nope. I have no interest in it. I have no interest in it. Yeah, I've tried the jar shaking method, and blink, I think I'm actually not. So like people, they would put like garlic in a jar and they would shake it all around to peel it. I don't have that kind of stamina. I haven't done cardio in years. I get a little winded from, oh, I'm not going to specify that. But it's a lot of effort for me, and so I don't like doing the shaking thing. From, you know what, for making mayonnaise, when you whip mayonnaise and you're pouring oil in and you're like constantly beating it, it's a lot of effort. Right? It's not me being weird. It's not an innuendo. That's not an innuendo. Stop. That's a genuine thing. You guys saw me have to whisk something and I got tired. I get tired of whisking things. And so, if I get tired of whisking things, then I'm also going to get tired from, whatchamacallit, shaking garlic in a jar. Okay? Don't be weird. Stop it. Okay. This is a family program. Actually, I don't think it is. I don't know what it is. It's weird. Okay, great. I'm going to just take all the butts off the garlic, my friends, all these dried out butts. Okay. And now, into the garlic press and into the condiment bowl, because remember, my friends, this is going to get added at the same time. This is going to help you save a lot of prep when you cook. Well, you save a lot of like dishes. Know which things have to be separated and know which things can be added in at the same time. I know the garlic and the ginger gets added at the same time, okay? So I'm going to be putting them into the same little container. Now, having all of you prepped on ahead of time is super important. This is something that I think all home cooks need to get into the habit of doing, okay? And this is something that you will see in a professional kitchen, right? To have all of your like little containers, to have like a bunch of deli cups and stuff. Have your condiment bowls, my friends. You'll keep organized, it's gonna be amazing. And get your prep done before you cook. Prep before you cook. Don't rush and cook before you actually get hungry. When you're hungry and you're trying to prep at the same time as cooking, you're juggling so many different tasks. Nobody cooks that way. It is incredibly inefficient. It is incredibly inefficient and it's stressful above all else, my friends. We're doing all this ahead of time so that when it's time to prep, when it's time to saute, when it's time to stir fry, everything is just ready to go, my friends. Okay? I can't sweat that to you enough. So a ridiculous amount of garlic, a ridiculous amount of ginger going in. Get in there. Lovely. All of it going inside, and now we take like a little shitty knife here, just to scrape that up. Going to put the rest of it back through one more time, just to get it fully pressed. And again, my friends, I love doing this with a garlic press. It's super efficient, it's super easy. I tried doing ginger in one, it didn't work that way. But yes, trust me, Shark Dog, you're gonna have a much better time cooking before you get hungry. Because when you start cooking and you're hungry, you start rushing through everything. You start rushing, and I'm rushing, and I don't like rushing. That was stupid. I'm gonna wash this off. I need a second. I'm just poking my garlic press just to make sure nothing gets stuck in the holes, right? Because stuff can like dry out there really, really easily. Okay. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I'm sorry. I'm normally, guys, I'm normally funny. I'm normally funny. Not today, though. Okay, so this was the garlic and the ginger. I'm just going to mix it up really quickly. Again, this is a garbage knife that I don't really care about, so don't worry about the fact that I'm destroying it at the moment. I'm just making sure my garlic and ginger is evenly incorporated. And so, the majority of this is going to get added into the stir fry itself. And then a little bit is going to be going into this delicious seasoning paste that I'm cooking up for, everything else. Okay, so paper towel, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to wipe down my station. I'm going to wipe down my bench really quickly. Make sure that we're staying calm and collected and organized. Okay, so everybody, smallest recap session in the world. We've gotten done only 2 things. We've gotten the garlic and the ginger done, and we've only gotten the scallions done. Okay. Next, let's do the spice mixture, and let's toast up our spices. So, everybody, repeat after me. Well, actually, maybe not repeat after me. I want somebody in chat to answer for me. I want somebody that already knows, and I'm going to put your thing on the screen. What do we not do on the stream? When it comes to spices, what do we not use? What do we not do? Somebody has to know this. Somebody's going to know this. What do we not use when it comes to spices on the stream, my friends? Ooh, there we go. Duolingo beat you to it first. Duolingo beat you to it first. Everybody, guess what we don't use on the stream? We don't use pre-ground spices. We do not use pre-ground spices. Everything that we do on the stream is with whole spices because when it is ground and it is sitting in your container and the longer it is exposed to both oxygen or air, or oxygen and light, the more it loses its taste. When you take it from this very, very intact state, right, this very, very preserved state from a seed into a powder, its shelf life diminishes significantly and you're losing all of the flavor. So we do whole spices and we toast it and we grind it ourselves on the stream. So I'm starting with about a tablespoon of coriander. And my friends, you don't have to be super exact about this kind of thing. This is kind of up to you and your personal preference. Okay. So we're doing 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds. We're also going to do 1 tablespoon of Sichuan peppercorns. All right, these are the green ones, I believe. These bad boys give you the numbing. They're not spicy, but they have a very similar chemical reaction in your mouth that makes it numb. It's really special stuff. Okay, we're gonna do 1 tablespoon of these bad boys. Thank you for the bits. Okay, I appreciate it. So let's get in there. We're gonna do, this is about half a tablespoon each, so I'm gonna do in total 1 tablespoon. Okay. And again, my friends, my flavor inspiration for this today, this is a dish of my own, but my flavor inspiration is the lamb cumin noodles. What about red chili powder? Achilles, I don't love red chili powder at all. I hate red chili powder. I hate all chili powders because they don't tell you about the chili that it comes from. Ugh, it's a tragedy. Okay, so the cumin we're going to want the most of. This is the base flavor. So in total, I'm using like a tablespoon and a half of cumin. My friends, that is an aggressive, let me tell you, that is an aggressive amount of cumin going into this. Maybe a little bit more. I want the cumin to really, really punch you in the face when you're eating these noodles, not the noodles, but the pork. Okay? Is there anything that I hate eating? No, I eat everything. That's not true. There's not a single thing I don't like eating. And then, this is the one that you want to be the most sparing with. This is the one we're not going to go too crazy with. We're going to do a little bit of white peppercorn. A little bit. I do mean a little bit. Too much of this, and then you have like a certain pungency, and it's super, super unpleasant. Okay? Even this is like really pushing it, but we're going to do whatever amount of, we're going to do a few less. Get them out of here. I'm going to just take out a couple. Okay. A few peppercorns. So, my friends, also, I want to debunk something really quickly. There is this concept that I really hate in French cooking overall. You know, people say in French cooking, they say, this is what they sound like in France. You have to use the white peppercorn in white sauce. They hate black pepper in their white sauces. It's ridiculous. They insist that if this is a white sauce, you have to use white pepper. It's ridiculous. White peppercorns and black peppercorns are two completely different things. They do not taste the same. They do not taste the same at all. So anytime you hear somebody say, oh, we add white peppercorns into something purely for the color, is absolutely nonsense. They're completely different. There's a certain pungency and there's a certain funk to white pepper. They're not the same at all. They're not the same. Also, keepers, talking to French accent whole stream, I'm not that good enough at accents to be able to justify a thing like that. It makes me so upset. You guys have no idea how upset it makes me. Well, you can tell the fact that I had to burst out into a French accent. It is one of the most nonsensical classical bits of French cooking. They're not interchangeable at all. They're two completely different things. White peppercorns and black peppercorns are not the same. Okay, so, my friends, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the stove. We're going to the stove. And now we toast it. And to toast it, it's super simple. We just slap it onto the heat and we keep it moving. We slap it onto the heat and we keep it moving, my friends. We have all of these spices to get through. We want to get them nice and aromatic. And so you keep it constantly moving to make sure that it's evenly conducting the heat. Have I read the Food Lab? Yes, Gerblo. I got the Food Lab as a gift around 7 years ago. So we keep all of this constantly moving. Okay, you leave it still, the bottom of it is going to burn, and the rest of it isn't going to get properly toasted. You're gonna keep it moving. The Sichuan peppercorns for the numbing, the cumin for the earthiness, okay? The white pepper for a little bit of funk, and the coriander seeds for a little bit of herbaceousness. This is going to be an incredible spice blend for the pork today. Where do I get advice in the form of brands? You know, it's very good advice, that's right. Guys, if I'm yelling at you, you take notes. Okay. And so, here's a sign that you're looking for. You're looking for some slight wisps of smoke, okay? You're not looking for this to burn. You're not looking for the smell to really fill your kitchen. You'll smell it a little bit, and you'll see some really slight wisps of smoke as we keep everything nicely moving in this cute little pan, okay? So we're keeping it moving. We're keeping it going. We're keeping it rotating. Let's get these nicely toasted. It's going to change the flavor of the spices a little bit. And this isn't the most important step in the world because it's still going to get fried in the oil. Okay, it's still going to get fried up nicely. But I think it's still nice to do. Okay. Keep it going, my friends. Keep it going. Keep it going. We're looking for some slight smoke. Is it smoking? It's not smoking. So we're keeping it going. Give it a second. Keep it going. We want to make sure it's constantly moving, constantly in motion. There's no oil. It's just seeds and pan, right? So we don't want it to burn. Oh yeah, those smells are coming out beautifully. It's good. We're getting there. We're moving, we're keeping it moving. Almost done, my friends, almost done. Just littlest wisps of smoke imaginable. Not quite. Not a pleasant noise, I'd imagine, but that's okay. There it is. Okay, I saw the slight wisps of smoke. It's good to go. Let's go on over to the cutting board now. Oh, smells great. So, my friends, one of my favorite tools, the classic, the tried and true, the mortar and pestle. Oh yeah. Actually, that might be smoking too much. Did I burn it? Nah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So, my friends, really quickly, before I actually get to pounding the spices, I'm going to put away my spices into my cabinet really quickly because I want to clean as I go in the kitchen. Okay? I'm in a small New York kitchen. Not the smallest, but you gotta stay organized when you cook at home. So I'm putting away my bags of spices and stuff. Really, really quickly, just getting that done. Make sure they're not laying around on the counter because they're taking up quite a bit of real estate over there. Okay. That's right, the spices, thank you. So, my friends, first step, before we even get to the grinding stage, we have to crush them. We have to crush all the seeds because they're spherical, they're balls. You have to crush them so they're nice and flat. If you try rotating this now, the seeds are going to they're going to start hitting the sides of the mortar and pestle and they're going to fly out. So think about the structure. You want to basically flatten them. You know what day it is. It's Friday. It's time for flattening. So, flatten, flatten, Crush it all, my friends. Get it done. Get all those seeds nicely flattened. Ooh. I'm very glad. I'm glad that you liked it, Jack. Time for the 4:40 p.m. spice flattening. That's right. Oh, and it's already super, super aromatic. Oh. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Natalie, I need you for a sec. I want you to smell the spices. Natalie, I want you to smell my spices. That was the most begrudging yes chef I've ever heard.
Set up. Okay, we're good.
Have a little sniff. Have a little sniff of my spices.
Ooh.
Right? Aromatic, isn't it? Great. Thank you, Natalie. I just wanted some extra confirmation there. Natalie will be assisting us today. I have Natalie visiting me for a few days. Okay. You all met Natalie a couple streams ago when we did some enchiladas, I believe. Textbook Liz, have a sniff of my spices. That's right. I'm making this dinner for the both of us tonight. Ah. Look at that. Everybody's saying hi to you. They all missed you. It was just rabbit for now, but everybody will say hi. Okay, my friends, we're first crushing them and then we're going to grind them. Okay? We're first crushing up all of these lovely little spices. Get all this fuse nicely crushed. Get in there. Smash them down. Smash them down. Smash them down. Oh yeah, there we go. It's happening. It's happening, my friends. Everybody's saying hi to you. We're all happy to see you. Okay. Excellent. Ooh. We're almost there, my friends. Okay, and now it's time for the great rotation of 2024. Okay? Well, actually, there's still some ones that need to be crushed. This is where we go from chunks into a beautiful little powder. Ooh, it's getting a little sweaty in here. Is it time to turn the AC on? It might be time. Sweetie, on my windowsill is the AC remote. Can you grab that for me? Next to my bed, thank you. Okay, it's AC time. Okay, we have a lot of spice. I think I made way too much of a spice blend. I don't think I need nearly this many for today, but it'll be okay. Guys, I'm blushing. I'm blushing. Thank you. Okay, I just gotta mode, cool. Is that going? Is that opening? Why is it not going? I just turned it off. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that, everybody. We're so back. So, grinding all this up. Lovely spices, that's right. Also, thank you, Vevage, for the 100 bits. We're getting a nice little powder out of all of it. Getting it done. And my friends, let me tell you, homemade, freshly ground spices, they will always be better. Wait, did I get a raid? Wait, did I just get a raid? I don't know who Voosh is. Did I get a notification for it? Hello, hi, welcome in, everybody. Oh, Vosh raid. Oh. Hi, hello, welcome in, everybody. I know who you are, vaguely. Okay, my friends, we're getting done with all of the ground spices right now. Oh my God, that's a lot of people coming in. Jesus Christ, hello. It's good to have all of you. Okay, you know what? I got raided. Ooh, we're gonna do the raid introduction. Hi. Welcome. Yeah, I guess Twitch didn't give me the notification for as much as I liked. Welcome. I run the best cooking show on Twitch. Welcome in. We're doing a stir-fried pork today. We're making a fresh little spice mix right now. Okay? So right now, currently, I'm gonna show you what we have going on. I have some Sichuan peppercorns. I have some coriander seeds. I have some white peppercorns. And I have some cumin. Okay, beautiful. Additionally, we've prepped a bunch of scallions. I have some of these scallion whites that are going to get fried and stir-fried. I have these scallion greens that it's going to finish it with. And then I have these sliced scallions that are going to get tossed into everything. Okay, so welcome in. It's good to have all of you. Okay. So, my friends, we're continuing to grind all of this down. We're going to get a beautiful space out of it, a beautiful spice mix out of it, rather. And remember, in this stream, okay, we don't use any pre-ground spices. We use no pre-ground spices here. We only do whole toasted spices. So we toasted all these spices. We're grinding it up into a beautiful little powder, okay? And then it's going to get added into the beautiful stir-fried pork. I'm going to show you all. Look at my pork. Look at my pork. Look how coarse it is. Look how coarse it is. This is not your average supermarket ground pork. This is from my local Chinese supermarket. It's really, really beautiful. It's super coarse. The texture of it is going to be really nice and chewy today. Okay, so welcome in, everybody. If anybody has any cooking questions, I'm here to help you cook better at home. Okay? And also, really quickly, everybody that just came in, I like to be referred to as chef. So can I get a please resounding yes, chef, from everybody that just came in and everybody that's already watching, everybody that's already been here. I would like you to set an example.
Yes, chef.
Thank you, Natalie. That was really sweet of you. Look at that. Oh, we have a whole chat saying, yes, chef, life is worth living. Wow. Oh, you know what happened? We got rated by Vosh. That's right. Also, thank you so much for the prime sub. Everybody's coming in saying, yes, chef. That makes me feel really, really good. We got a little hype train going as well. Look at that. Great. Thoughts on adding sugar into dishes that aren't desserts? I am a really, really huge anti-sugar. I don't like adding sugar into things. I think we get enough sugar in our diets from every other component in so many different places that I try my best to avoid it at all times. Okay? Thoughts on Vosh? I know nothing about him. Besides that, I think we follow each other on Twitter. That's right. Well, that's not true, Praxis. No politics, only cooking. I wouldn't say that's actually completely accurate because food is innately political. I talk a lot about things like conservation, about efficiency, about like respect. There's actually no such thing as food without politics, right? Everything that I do is innately political. Do I know Kanye? Yes. We met when I was in the West Coast. It was good. But yes, my friends. Okay. So, we're almost done with our spice mix. We were going through quite a bit. I think this is actually just ground fine enough. We just don't want any big seeds left over. That would be like a bit of a textural problem. So I can still see there's like a few more. And now we're just going to go through it one more time. Lovely. And then we'll be finally done with this process. It's a bit annoying, but once we get it done, we're done with it. Okay, to me, that's fine enough. And we might not even use all of this today. I've realized this is a freakishly large volume of spices for this. What would you use as a substitute for brown sugar in some cooking? Asks Denizen. That's a bit of a complex question that you've just asked me. I don't think I have a good answer for you because it depends on what you're doing. Brown sugar is just white sugar plus a little bit of molasses. That's all that it is. Oh, chef, can I get a recap on what's in this? Absolutely. I'm going to do a recap in just a second for everybody that just came in. Also, Dosky, thank you so much for the 20 gifted subs. Jesus, people are coming out today. People are being super sweet today. Thank you. So, let me show you. I'm just scooping out the rest of the spice mix into my little container. So, you want a little recap session? We're going to do a little recap session. Let me show you. My friends, take a look. We're going to be doing today a stir-fried ground pork that's kind of inspired by mapo tofu and somewhat inspired by lamb cumin noodles. This is a dish of my own creation. So, we have a bunch of scallions. These scallions are going to be stir-fried with the pork. These scallions are going to be sliced up and added to the rice at the end because we're making a seasoned coriander rice. These scallions are going to get added to the final stir-fried pork product. This is a freshly toasted spice blend of a bunch of cumin seeds, that's the lamb cumin inspiration, coriander seeds, white peppercorns, and Sichuan peppercorns for the like numbing effect, right? And then over here, we have some garlic and ginger. Right? Some of this is going to go into the stir-fried pork. Some of this is going to go into the seasoning paste for the rice itself. And now I'm setting all that behind me. Also, thank you so much to John Dahlia for 10 gifted subs. Oh my God. You guys are being super sweet today. Thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. Okay, let's move on. We got to keep on going. Got to keep on moving. We have a lot to do today. So, let's do some of the onions. Also, thank you to Dragonfly7 for the prime sub. Thank you so much. Oh, look at that. I have new people coming in saying, yes, chef. You guys learn so quickly. Everybody can take some notes there. Okay, my friends. We're going to go ahead and we're going to just peel up this onion. This was a leftover red onion that I had. And so this onion is going to go into the seasoning paste for today's coriander rice that I'm doing. Okay, I want this rice, the onion to get like super, super tender. I want it to basically melt it and make the whole thing sweet. When I do seasoned rices, I don't actually love cooking things together with the rice. I like making a separate paste and folding it in. Because oftentimes when you make a seasoned rice, especially with things like onions, especially with things like tomato, they tend to stick to the bottom and scorch. And so I like to make my rice separately and then combine them together and let them really, really soak in together. So, my friends, we want a finely minced onion because we want this to really, really get nice and soft. The texture and the size that you cut things in a kitchen is super, super important. For something like an onion, the bigger you leave it, the less it's going to melt in essentially and impart its sweetness. The finer you slice it, okay, the more it's going to basically dissolve into something. So, we're going to fan this bad boy out. We're going to make a bunch of parallel incisions going all the way through, but not totally through, to the end of the onion. And we're keeping it intact with the root end. This is just half a red onion, my friends. We're just slicing and we're getting all the prep done. Okay, thank you, your boy. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, red onions. Give them a nice little slice, my friends. And now, you can see we fanned out this onion. Because now, when we actually get in there to get the small to medium-sized cubes of onion that we want for the rice, and we slice it in, and we don't chop, we slice it, and we pull it and we slice it, we get this beautiful minced onion. How do I do that without cutting my finger? Good question, comrade. Let's talk about basic knife skills really quickly. We're using what's called a claw grip. I am using a little claw grip. We're essentially using our frontmost knuckle to guide the edge of the knife. So our fingertips are never stuck out like this. We're always gliding the knife against our knuckles, okay? So you see, I'm setting up a little claw here. We're using our 3 frontmost knuckles. And we always make sure that the thumb is tucked behind. Most people, they stick their thumb out like this, and that's how you cut it. So you tuck your thumb behind, and you do a little claw grip, okay? And that way, you'll get some really, really beautiful cuts. You'll be able to go in all the way. You'll be nice and precise without ever having to worry about cutting yourself. I hope that answers your question. How am I not crying? Really good question. When you cry, it is because you're A, crushing your onions, and B, working with a dull knife. We're slicing the onions. We have a beautiful knife here. We're using the full length of it. And we're just slicing all the way through. If you're crying when you're cutting onions, that's telling you that your knife is a little too dull. Also, John Dahlia has asked me a really beautiful question that I would love to answer. Opinions on when to use white versus red onions versus shallots. I feel like shallots are like the biggest difference here. Shallots are the ones that kind of taste like the most different. Shallots are like super, super intense if you kind of mince it up. But white versus red onions, the only thing to consider, I feel like red onions burn a little easier. And white onions are particularly pungent when they're raw. Really, it mostly matters when your different alliums are raw. Some are more intense than others, but for the most part, they're interchangeable when you're actually cooking them. The only thing is pigmented onions, things like red onions, things like shallots, they tend to burn a little bit easier once they release some of the liquid. That's the only thing to really keep in mind. Otherwise, I feel like for cooking onions, they tend to get kind of samey. I'm not gonna do that. I don't need to do that because I have a sharp knife. So my friends, we held it together with the root end, and now we have all of this beautiful minced up onion, okay? You love the passion I have? Thank you. I'm gonna try my best. We're going to go ahead, we're going to use a bench scraper. That's right, Infinite Pain, a sharp knife is a safe knife because you don't have to go down with as much pressure. Look at this, bench scraper into a lovely little bowl, scrape it all up. We're getting all of the prep done in advance today, okay? All of the prep done in advance because when a stir fry is going, it's just going. And Dosky, thank you so much for another 10 gifted subs. It was really sweet of you. Okay. Wow. So, everybody, by the way, I'm gonna do a little shilling. I'm paying for all this out of pocket. If you'd like to support the streams and help subsidize the grocery costs, I want to keep these streams free for everybody watching. You can scroll down to my About section. You can type an exclamation mark Patreon. You can go, somewhere else. My Patreon helps to subsidize the grocery cost of everything that we do here because I try to keep these streams without ads, all the content without ads, right? So, thank you. But you don't have to. Okay, sweet. Onions, those have been now minced up beautifully. Let's go ahead and do the rest of the prep. Okay, it's time to measure out some of the wet ingredients for today. So, a lot of the flavor profile of this today, my friends, is inspired by a mapo tofu. Okay, I really loved it when I made it. Also, thank you so much to Derek for the Prime sub. This is really, really inspired by a mapo tofu. Okay, So we're doing a tablespoon of Shaoxing wine. We're doing 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, and we're doing 2 tablespoons of Dobanjiang, which is essentially a chili bean paste. Really, really delicious stuff. You could use like gochujang and doenjang together if you'd really like, but they're all going to add slightly different things. Okay, where is my tablespoon? Aha, there it is, found it. And Velvet Benoit, thank you so much for the prime sub. Thank you, thank you. So, my friends, let's do all these. So all the wet ingredients are gonna get added roughly at the same time. So we're gonna do that now. We're gonna do the proportions I like were 1 tablespoon of the Shaoxing. And this is not really a wine that you can drink. It's super salty. Shaoxing wine is not even like, in like mainland China, this would be probably called Liaojiu, and Shaoxing wine is like a little bit different. But Liaojiu and Shaoxing wine are fairly interchangeable. So we're doing a few tablespoons of that. Cute Freddy Krueger shirt, thank you. I think this is the official Hot Topic Freddy Krueger shirt, which actually is a little bit embarrassing to admit. I might have not liked to say that out loud. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of the soy sauce is what we're going to do here. And again, my friends, we're pre-measuring this stuff so that it's a lot easier. And this, you don't have to be super exact with this, right? That's about 4½ tablespoons. Also, Delove, I'm not really sure what you said, but I am Russian, and I can't read Russian. I can only speak to you in Russian, though. Okay, so dark soy sauce. My friends, dark soy sauce and light soy sauce are not the same thing. This is more intense. This is more fermented. This is more concentrated. They're not, I see some people say, oh, it's just for like a color difference. I think dark soy sauce has a very different taste. So some of that goes in. And then, my friends, finally, we're going to do some of this. This is the Dobanjiang. Okay, I'm going to use the other side of this bad boy. We're going to use maybe like 1.5 tablespoons or so. I'm not really measuring anymore. And this is going to make it really fermented. It's going to make it really, really spicy. A little bit more. Fine. Now let's mix all this stuff together. Yes, it is absolutely worth the money. I love that knife to death. If anybody is curious about the knife, this is the Kramer's Willing Collaboration carbon steel knife. It's carbon steel, so it takes a bit of maintenance. Like you can't like leave it wet or anything, but it's really, really lovely stuff. Okay, my friends, this is the seasoning sauce essentially for the stir fry. Dark soy sauce, Dobanjiang, okay, as well as some Shaoxing wine, okay. The Shaoxing wine, it's actually really, really subtle. I feel like more than anything, it just kind of adds like a saltiness to the whole thing. It's not as important as some people would like to make it out to be. It's not particularly flavorful. Oh, it's not 600 euros. It's like $300, something like that. I forgot how much. It's definitely not 600 euros though. It's not that expensive. No. For that money, I'd probably get like a custom made. Well, a custom made would be a lot more expensive. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to measure out some chili crisp because I want to finish this with some chili crisp from classic Laogan Ma. I'm also going to just quickly wipe down my station. Is everybody enjoying the stream so far? I'm pretty happy about today's thing. Today we're doing a dish that is essentially completely my own. I'm very happy about it. Yeah, lovely to hear it. Okay, we're gonna do some of the chili crisp. And again, my friends, pre-measure everything. It's going to make your life so much easier. It will make your life so much easier, okay? So, chili crisp. We're going to go ahead, we're going to spoon some out. Alongside the chili oil, okay? It's going to give the whole thing a very nice, pleasant heat. I love chili crisp. Love it, can't get enough of it. That's I have no idea how much I'm using. I'm just spooning some out. You can use as much or as little as you would like. I love this, my friends. If you do not have Laogan Ma for some reason in the year 2024, you're making a mistake. This is one of my favorite condiments to put over eggs, to put over rice. And yes, I do upload the VODs. Go to the YouTube link. Go to the YouTube link. I post everything onto YouTube. You gotta have some Laogan Ma on hand, okay? Okay, and finally, there is one more component that we do need for today. We are going to need a little bit of cornstarch. So I'm going to go ahead and get that portioned out as well. Amazon and grocery store, what do you mean? I every single time for stream, I go out of my way and I buy all the groceries for everything. Okay. Doesn't have much flavor though, the chili crisp. It does have plenty of flavor. It's numbing, it's spicy, it's oily, it's essentially encased in chili oil. I love it. It's really, really delicious. It's salty, it's funky, it's got everything you want in it. Okay. So, We got one last component, and it's going to be the cornstarch. And then we can begin with the other stuff. And then we're going to do a recap session. So we don't need a crazy amount of cornstarch. We're only going to do about a teaspoon. And this is going to help make sure that the fat and like all the sauce that we do, it doesn't like really separate from the meat too much. Okay? We want to really help to keep everything bound and nice and glossy together. This is not going to be particularly wet stir fry, I'm imagining. So I'm only doing like 1 teaspoon of cornstarch here. This is just to help give it some viscosity. Just a little bit of viscosity. And then we're going to add water into it later on. Okay, we don't have to worry about that right now. Okay, my friends, we're basically done with the prep portion. The last thing is going to be the cilantro. All of this came from the fact that I had a bunch of cilantro in my fridge to get rid of. So, everybody in chat, you've already seen me talk about this a million times. Let me tell you about this. Whenever I buy fresh herbs, whenever I buy things like fresh coriander, I make sure to wash it way before I'm ready to cook it. And I put it in a Tupperware, in a container, with some paper towel. The paper towel is a natural humidity regulator. Think of like a silica packet. Okay? So, what this essentially does, if your environment is too dry, your cilantro or whatever fresh herb is going to dry up and turn kind of, beige. If your environment is too wet, it's going to turn brown and mushy and rotten. My friends, having this paper towel in your container pre-washed and ready to go, it's a natural humidity regulator. This can last up to 5 days in your fridge. 5 days. It's good stuff. 5, 6 days. Yes, and I do store it in the fridge, Grimpy. That I do. Okay, all of this today was because I wanted to get rid of some of the cilantro. A lot of the cilantro is going to go into the rice. A lot of it is going to go into the pork stir fry as well. And now, let's go ahead and prep it up a little bit. So, everybody says, you've heard this a million times, oh, don't take the stems off the cilantro. Don't do that, you're wasting it. I don't care. I hate the texture of the stems. I hate the fibrous texture. So we're going to get rid of the big stems. Oh, Daramgar, you're wasting flavor. That's okay. I don't like the texture. We'll live. It will just be okay. Okay, great. So, my friends, I'm going to wash up this knife because this is carbon steel. I don't want any like stuck food to it. I'm just going to rinse this off really quick. And then I'm going to show you everything that we've amassed so far. My friends, always, 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 prep before you're ready to cook. You do not want to prep while you cook. You do not want to prep while you cook. Okay? Because if you're prepping while you're cooking, you're like juggling. Oh, I have to go to the stove. I have to go to this. Like here, let me do a dramatic demonstration and also flex my stove camera at the same time. Right? It's like, oh, okay, I gotta chop this. Oh, I gotta wash my hands off. I gotta go here. It's ridiculous. Get all of your prep done ahead of time and cook before you're ready to eat. Cook before you're hungry. Okay? It will change and save your life, my friends. It's really, really important. In restaurant kitchens, the prep is already done. That's why they're able to make and pump out food so fast. Okay? Because the stuff is already there ready, on the line. They just take things, they scoop them out, and it's ready to go. The prep is done ahead of time. Nobody is prepping at the same time. Right? Yes, mise en place, if you want to be French about it. That's what they call it. So, take as much of the big stems off as much as you would like, my friends. Okay? We're just getting the leaves off of this bad boy. Oh my God. Oh, I just thought of something awful. Mise en pause. Also, hi Willow, welcome on in. This mise en pause, that's pretty good. Woof, I suppose. Okay, sorry. Anyhow, let's not be weird on the stream, guys. You guys are making it weird, not me. Okay, we're taking the cilantros off the stems. You seem very intelligent. Desolate, that's the worst time to say that after I said something so stupid. Thank you. I try my best. Hello, Willow. Hope you're doing good today. Okay. So my friends, we're getting rid of all of the cilantro here, getting it off the stems. Okay, and again, some of the cilantro is going to go into the rice itself. And again, I don't want like a super seasoned rice. I just want like a fresh herbaceous rice kind of deal. And then most of it is going to get tossed into the pork at the end. And then we'll figure out like how big or how small we want these pieces to be. We'll make all those decisions in just a little bit. Okay. Okay, getting all of it done, my friends. We're just going through the prep, we're going through the motions. And again, if anybody has any cooking questions at all, there's no such thing as a bad question here. I'm here to help all of you learn how to cook. I've been cooking for the majority of my life, and more than anything, the reason I'm doing these is to teach others how to cook. So if you have a question of any kind, I will display it, preferably ones that spark some kind of conversation, but anything that you would like. I'm here to help you. Okay, almost done. We're getting it through. We're getting through it all. All the cilantro, all of it's now picked off the big stems. And again, if some of the stems are left, it's fine, and it's not like that big of a deal. We just want to get rid of the biggest ones. What would be my last meal? Keepers, it would be rice and beans. I love rice and beans to death. Red beans and rice, or just like Mexican, like seasoned rice and beans. One of those two. Okay, and so now, my friends, let's think about the texture. Should you use a popcorn button? I've never used it in my life. Okay. So, my friends, we have all the cilantro. Let's think about the texture that we want. Here's your number one thing that you do not do. I don't care who you are, you're not going to do this. We don't chop this. And yes, there's a good cilantro alternative. Culantro. Go buy some culantro. People with the soap gene for cilantro do not taste it in culantro, and you can cook with it. Okay, my friends, we do not chop herbs. We don't crush them. This is not an axe, and that is not wood. We slice it. You crush these herbs, you chop them. They're gonna get brown, they're gonna oxidize, and they're gonna lose all their flavor on the cutting board. So here's what we do. Everybody, you've heard me say this a million times. We wanna slice these up a little bit. So here's what we do. We take the whole thing, and we bundle it in our hands like a little baby bird. We don't wanna destroy its brains. We don't wanna explode all of its organs, but we don't want it to fly away either. So we hold this thing like a baby bird. We hold it like a baby bird. We're bundling it up in our hands. We're not crushing it. We're not destroying it. We're just bundling it up. It can take it. It's flexible. Okay? And now, this is what you do with baby birds. You take them, you put them down on your cutting board, and now you slice them gently. That's what you do with those guys. Okay? We're going to slice it. We're using the full length of a knife. We're not chopping it. We're not crushing it. And you can tell the herbs are not getting destroyed. They're not getting macerated. They're not getting pureed. They're getting thinly sliced up, my friends. Look how intact they are. They're fresh and vibrant and green. But they're not dark brown because you didn't mush them, you didn't crush them. If your herbs look wet when you slice them, if they look wet, that means that you've crushed the cells and that it's going to oxidize and it's going to lose its flavor and you've failed in your mission. So that's why you need a nice sharp knife. Look at these beautiful herbs. Look at my bundle. And now let's take it back. Let's take it back. That is perfect chopping. It's not perfect chopping midnight. It's slicing. And yes, I am somewhat using the claw technique. More than anything, I'm using my pinky and my thumb to hold it all together, right? It's a very subtle motion, but my friends, take a look. Take a look. Take a look. Look at this. Beautiful. Fresh, vibrant, green herbs. I'm sorry for getting on you midnight. I do apologize for yelling at you for a second. Fresh, vibrant, and green. Okay? Now there's a couple of big leaves left. I'm not going to process this anymore. That is perfect for me. Cilantro alternative is spelled exactly as cilantro, except you swap the I for a U. No, there is no way we slice ourselves here. There's no way we slice ourselves. And now, my friends, take a look. Look at this beautiful, fresh cilantro that's not brown. It's not oxidizing. We didn't crush it. We just sliced it. And now we're going to take a little plate. We're going to take a little plate for this bad boy. Okay, I'm gonna wash off my knife in a second. Take it all, scrape it up, throw it in. We're going to save some for garnish, but most of it is just going to go into the rice, and it's going to go into the stir-fried pork. Okay, I think that is actually all of my use for the cutting board for today. And yes, I love chicken bouillon. I love chicken bouillon. Okay, my friends, I am going to take a second. I'm going to clean up the station. There is nothing else for me to chop anymore. Okay. And yes, I mean, Mirin does something that's not just adding sweetness, but typically I try to avoid adding things that are just straight sugar, just straight honey into cooking. Okay. And bouillon specifically, we're referring to dried bouillon, munha. So munha is French, right? And in French, I believe that just translates to like broth. Okay, so I'm going to show you everything that we've done so far. My friends, for this kind of food, especially, you have to get all your prep done ahead of time, okay? Let me show you everything that we have in front of us. So, everybody, a little recap session. For anybody that's just joining us, welcome on in. It's lovely to have all of you. We're making two things. We're making a seasoned coriander rice, and we're making a stir-fried pork inspired by both lamb cumin noodles and inspired by mapo tofu. Okay? So, First things first, scallions. No such thing as too many scallions. These scallion whites, they're gonna get sauteed with the pork. These scallion finely sliced greens are gonna get added to the rice, and these scallion greens are gonna get added to the pork and on top as garnish. Beautiful. Okay, next, some red onions. This is going to go into the seasoning for the rice because we're gonna make a separate seasoning paste. Okay, next, we have this beautiful spice mixture. This is cumin, Sichuan peppercorns, coriander seeds, and white peppercorns. White peppercorns for the funk, coriander seeds for the herbaceousness, cumin for the earthiness, and the white peppercorns for the, the Sichuan peppercorns for the numbing effect. Okay, next, in here I have three things. I have dark soy sauce, I have some Shaoxing wine, and I also have some tobanjian. Tobanjian is a chili bean paste. It is a broad bean paste with some fermented chilies. It's funky, it's got some oomph to it. Okay, it's really delicious stuff. The dark soy sauce, salty, fermented as well. And the liaojiu, or the Shaoxing wine, okay, it's gonna add a nice saltiness to the whole thing. Then I have some garlic and ginger, minced garlic ginger. Okay, this is gonna get added to both things. These two are just for the stir-fried pork. I'm gonna go ahead and set these aside. Next, I have a bunch of cilantro, aka coriander, interchangeable. This is going to go into the rice and into the pork as well. And then, my friends, finally, some laoganman, okay, aka some chili crisp here with some chili oil, and some cornstarch to help thicken the whole thing up. We're not looking for something saucy, we just want the cornstarch to help bring everything together, my friends. Okay, my friends, here's what we gotta do. We got three things left to do. Make the seasoning paste for the rice. We're gonna basically saute a bunch of stuff, make the rice, and then finally, we gotta make the stir fry. So, everybody that's watching, even if you're new here, are we ready? You know what I wanna hear? You know the answer. A yes is not gonna suffice. Natalie, what do we wanna hear?
Yes, chef.
It's so quiet.
Yes, chef.
One more time, Natalie.
Yes, chef.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Great, everybody in chat is saying yes, chef, excellent. I'm happy to have all of you. Okay. Ah, guys, this is doing wonders for my ego. You know that? You know how self-serving these cooking streams are? It's basically an exchange. I'm teaching you how to cook, and you're making me feel good about myself. So thank you. Okay, so we're going to begin doing the seasoning paste for the rice itself, because that has to get done ahead of time. And my friends, I'm trying to solve a problem here. This is not a particularly traditional thing that we're doing. This is not a particularly traditional thing. We're, and typically in Chinese cooking, your rice is like completely plain and then you have something super seasoned with it. I wanted to do a coriander rice. So we're doing some fried onions, some fried garlic ginger, and then we're adding some scallions and coriander to it. And then we're adding and folding that into the rice after it's steamed. I don't like pilafs and I don't like dishes where the other things cook at the same time as the rice because they tend to scorch on the bottom, like let's say you're doing like a Spanish rice. I find that the tomato paste and stuff really burns on the bottom. Okay, so I like doing it separately. I like doing that in a separate pan and then combining it together at the end, and you get a very special, very different texture. Okay, so let's go to the stove. I'm gonna actually turn on the heat first. Let's go to the stove. And now, I don't typically like to cook with non-stick pans. I don't typically do this, right? This is not really me. We just need to basically fry some onions. It's nothing crazy. So we're doing like a low-medium heat. We're going to throw in some peanut oil, okay? A good amount of peanut oil because again, we want these onions to fry, okay? We want the onion to properly fry. And now, at the same time, while that is heating up, we are going to do one thing really quickly. We're going to start washing the rice, my friends. We're gonna start washing the rice. You don't really need to use nonstick for everything. There's nothing particularly sticky in something like this today. It's just kind of unnecessary more than anything. Okay, my friends, so while that's heating up, let's go back here. I'm going to talk to you about the rice. My friends, I don't use a rice cooker. I'm different. I'm going to teach you how to make the perfect rice in a saucepan every single time, every single day of the week. So this is approximately, like what, 1 cup of rice or so. I'm making rice for like 2 people. 1 cup of rice. My friends, this is haiga rice. Haiga rice essentially is rice that has the germ attached to it. It is between white rice and brown rice. This has a little bit more fiber, okay, than your traditional white rice does. But it doesn't have the unpleasant texture that brown rice has for me. Okay, so we're going to wash it. And yes, I think actually washing might not be necessary completely. But it's all about the amount of water that you add at the end. I'm not like other chefs, I'm different, absolutely, John. So when we wash this rice, we're going to wash until it's basically clear, and then I'm going to show you how much water we do. Here's the golden rule. The more water we add, the more mushy it's going to be. The less water, the more granular it's going to be. I want nice, granular, fluffy rice, and I'm going to show you exactly how much water is going to be required. In the meantime, my oil, we don't need this oil to be scorching hot or anything. We're just going to go in with the onions. Right? We don't need scorching hot oil. We just want to get some nice color on these red onions. Okay? And you see how nice it is that we have everything already prepped up and ready to go. Okay? And so, this is the stage where the onions don't really tend to burn or anything. And that's why I feel confident walking away and washing the rice. Hit it with some salt. It doesn't really matter, you don't have to. Okay? And again, we're going to intentionally undersalt the rice. So, while that's going, I'm going to step off camera. I'm going to read the chat still on my phone. Ask me any questions while I wash the rice. So all I'm doing, my friends, is I'm running water through the rice, I'm agitating it, and I'm getting rid of it. Some people say it gets rid of extra starch, you're getting rid of some dirt. I've gotten into the habit of doing it, although it's not entirely necessary, and sometimes you don't even want it for some things. Like, let's say if you're doing a risotto. Okay. We're washing the rice. I'm not sure what you're asking me, Jack. So we're washing the rice. I did leave the scene, guys. The onions are frying. I'll be back in a second, I promise. We're just washing the rice, we're agitating it, we're keeping it moving. And I'm going to show you exactly how much water is in here after this. Okay? What's my take on cooking is like chemistry? I think it can actually be counterintuitive to think about it that way. I think for sometimes it's really, really nice to have like really good like optimizations. But some people, they just tend to overuse, and in fact, just use them incorrectly. They use scientific terminology incorrectly. Oh, am I number one on food and drink? No, I don't think so, viewership-wise. But we'll get there. It'll happen. Even though it's not a competition, we'll just get there. Do you guys think we'll get there? I think we'll get there. Okay, I'm just basically rinsing the rice over and over until the water is clear. Almost done, my friends. One day I'll get a sync camera. Today is just not that day. Okay, almost done. I hope the onions don't burn in this time. I think they'll be fine. I'm going to stop the rice washing. I think the onions are fine. Yeah, they don't really burn in this stage. It's totally okay. Give that a little... Yeah, it's fine. I have no reason to be so afraid. Okay, get that back going. I'm going to show you all exactly what my rice looks like in just a second. So, my friends, making rice in a saucepan is super, super easy. It's super, super simple. I'm going to show you right now. Look at it. Look at it. The more water you have, I don't like even doing the fingernail method because it really depends on, of course, the size. Wrong scene. Okay. It really depends on the size of your fingers, and it's going to be individual and specific to everybody and individual to your saucepan. So there's a couple of factors here. The greater your surface area, the more evaporation you're going to have. The less tight your lid is, the more evaporation you're going to have. The more you stir it, the more gummy it's going to get. I don't stir my rice at all when I cook it. You stir it, you're going to get gummy rice. This is how much water we're doing above it. This isn't even an inch. This is not even half an inch. We're going to do a splash of liquid more. And there is a really good margin of error that you can have with something like this too. Right? Where even though the texture of it is slightly going to change, it's not going to be particularly, it can be a little less. It's not going to be unpleasant or anything. So, my friends, take a look at the amount of water that we have. We can do a little bit less because my lid is super, super tight, okay? That's still a little too much water for me. I'm not measuring, we're not using volume, I'm using my past intuition. And so the way that you do this is you practice using the same vessel to cook your rice and over until you get it right. This is what I want for granular, fluffy rice. Jack, I don't eat sweets as is. I don't try to eat any additional sugar in my diet. Okay, my onions are at risk for burning now. This is where I do have to start moving it around a little bit more. I haven't been paying attention to them as much as I should have been, probably. Okay, I'm going to slightly lower my heat there because, again, the red onions, they tend to burn really easily. Yeah, I don't typically eat fruits. This is just for myself and my own diet and stuff, but that's how I like to go about things. Okay, I'm setting the rice on. We bring to a boil, drop to a simmer, cook it for 18 minutes, and then we fold in the seasoning. Okay? We fold in the seasoning. But yeah, it's not like I'll harshly avoid fruits. I just don't buy it and I don't really keep fruits at home. And I try my best not to eat sugar, not to cook with sugar or anything. It helps to keep sort of the figure that I want to keep, right? Because we're still inevitably going to get sugar in other parts of our diet. We're inevitably going to get sugar when we go out to eat, right? It's just going to happen. So I try to avoid it. Okay, my friends. The onions at this stage, once they've been like really, really thoroughly, you've cooked out some of the moisture from it and they've softened, this is where they do tend to burn the easiest. So we don't really want to leave these unattended too much. So we're lowering the heat at the stage. We want to fry these onions, but we don't want to squelch them. Okay, I'm also going to quickly rinse off my knife one last time. And again, all we're doing is we're creating this really, really delicious seasoning paste for the rice itself. That's all we're doing, my friends. That's all we're doing. Yeah, and you can't really like toss it anymore once it gets softened enough, like only in the beginning stages. And once it gets like soft and sticky, you have to use a spoon to really, really combine the whole thing together. And again, we're getting this done ahead of time so that when the rice is ready, we can just mix it in and it's super, super easy and ready to go, okay? We're on a medium heat on the rice. We're just bringing it to a boil, then we're gonna drop to a simmer lid in 18 minutes. Do not stir that rice. Do not touch that rice. You will get gummy rice. Okay? So we're frying the onions, my friends. And listen, here's my #1 pet peeve when it comes to food. I hate it when people say, oh, we're just sweating the onions. That means nothing. It's meaningless. We're frying it. We're caramelizing it slightly. Right? We're building a lot of flavor. We're changing it so it's not just cooked onions, but fried onions, my friends. Okay? And we're getting it nice and softened as well so we don't have like the pungent bite of harsh raw red onion and the coriander rice. In fact, we could probably just like even add the rice like on top of it or the onion on top of it to just sort of like steam and soften and then mix it in. I'm just gonna mix it in after it's cooked. Why does stirring it make it gummy? Because you're agitating it. You're agitating the rice and you move it around and you're kind of like breaking off some surface starch from it in my experience. Okay, my friends, we're getting there with the onions. We don't want to push it too much further because we start getting burnt onions at that point. Remember, it's red onions. Red onions tend to burn the easiest. So, I have my garlic and ginger here. We're going to use some of it in this application. The rest of it is going to go into the pork for today. Okay, it's going to make it all nice and aromatic. And then we add the garlic and ginger later on because this has a high susceptibility to burning. If we add it at the beginning, we would have undercooked onion and burnt garlic and ginger. And we just cook this for about 30 seconds. We're going to add a little bit more salt as well to it. A little bit more salt, my friends. Because again, we don't want the super salty rice. The stir-fried pork is going to season it mostly. This is just to make sure the rice isn't completely bland. The function of the rice is it's supposed to be like this intentionally bland component. Okay? Perfect. That should be fried. That's perfect. The garlic and the ginger is fully fried, my friends. Any tips on stopping garlic from burning? Don't overcook it. Don't overcook it. In fact, also be ready for the residual heat. This pan is hot. The stovetop is hot. So we're still moving it around. We're cooling it off. And then we're going to add some of the scallions now just to soften these bad boys up. And the rest of it we're just going to fold directly into the rice. But these scallions are going to help to cool off that pan slightly. And this is the seasoning, my friends. The coriander we're not adding right now because I don't want to like destroy it. This is what's going to be added into the rice and make it super, super aromatic. Okay? Lovely. That's it. It's done. And my friends, Nothing I'm teaching you, none of this is a recipe. All of this is technique. Everything I'm showing you on the stream always is technique, technique, technique. I'm showing you how to stir fry. I'm showing you how to make rice. You don't have to follow everything I do exactly. I'm showing you methods and ideas and theory and technique so that you can then take it and apply it to anything else that you do. I'm teaching you how to be creative, and I'm teaching you how to understand cooking, not to just make a good dish. That's not what I'm teaching you to do. I'm teaching you how to understand and feel and what you're looking for in cooking. Because the goal is not just to be able to recreate one dish. The goal is to have flexibility in the home kitchen and to be able to make whatever you want anytime you want. Use what you have. Don't waste things. Okay, so we're just cooling off that pan now. I took it off the heat, all right? Just making sure the onions and garlic and ginger do not burn. Smells really delicious, really nice and aromatic. So, everybody, one more time. We're currently done with the seasoning paste. We have 2 things left to do. We have to finish cooking the rice, and then we have to make the stir-fried pork itself. We're going to hold off a little bit on doing the pork. The pork in total is going to take maybe 5 to 6 minutes. The rice is going to take 18 minutes. Okay? I don't want to be done with the pork and have it be cold in the pan or so while I'm waiting for the rice to be done. I should have started the rice sooner. That's a little bit on me. I'm going to take a second to clean up. But also, if anybody has any questions before we actually get to the pork portion, now is your time to ask me. I'm here to help you. Any question is a good question. So, have you considered a cookbook or gathering of the recipes? So, yes, absolutely, I have considered a cookbook. I wanted to make a theory book, a technique book. My answer is it's going to take a lot of time to develop, but specifically, I have a really good model for it. I'm not going to sell it. I want a completely free online version of the PDF because I do not believe in paywalling and gatekeeping information to those that have money. In this age of the internet, in the age of communication technology, all the good and valuable information in society is behind a paywall. And anything that's out there in free is written by people that are completely underpaid. And people don't post things online for free anymore. I want to have my information, I want to have this stream be completely free for everybody to watch. And then I will have a hardcover version that says, hey, if you want this information online, you can get it for free. The hardcover version is the one that I will profit from to help compensate for the cost of it, because it's an actual physical book. But online PDFs and video games and all of this digital media should never cost money to buy and reproduce. I want to have it so that people can pay what they can. If people can't pay any amount of money, great, that's fine. You can get it for free. Okay, that's what I want to do with my cookbook. The Vosh fans are going to like this? Yeah, that's right. How many pages? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be quite yet. That's what I want. Digital media should not cost any amount of money. People should be paid in this society. People should be paid to research and develop it, right? Similar to like how researchers they create and they publish like things in a journal. But it shouldn't cost money to give this to other people. It should not. You're paying for licenses that they can easily revoke. That's why I hate the idea of ebooks. I hate it. I hate it all. And so I want to change the system. I want to completely free and advertise that way too. And I want to rely on the goodwill of people to help compensate me for the cost that it went into developing it. Okay. It's pretty important to me. It's pretty important stuff. I'm taking a second. I'm just going to put some dishes into my dishwasher really, really quickly while I have a second. And my friends, we set the lid and we drop the heat down. Okay, we set the heat on, and we're letting the rice slowly cook. And that's why, by the way, I do feel the need to shill like this Patreon so much, because I want to keep these streams free for everybody. The Patreon does not unlock you any exclusive information. This is a core feature. The only thing that the Patreon gives you is a specific private Discord where you can talk with me. Also, thank you for the sub, Midnight. But I will never, never, never have my Patreon give you specific content, specific videos, specific recipes. I am never going to do that with my Patreon. Never. Because I do not believe in that information being paywalled to those that have the money for it. The only thing that you get is a little parasocial interaction with me in my Discord and being able to chat with me and help me decide on what I'm doing for stream sometimes. So please, exclamation mark Patreon. Are there any food recipe sites that you would recommend? Yes, Cappy, I really, really like Serious Eats. Serious Eats is my #1 reference that I use for everything. That is what I use for everything, essentially. Okay. That is like, if I don't know something, that is where I go to. I love Serious Eats. Oh wait, no, Moonha. Do you have a, not Moonha, excuse me. Signori, what's your question? But yes. Okay, so my friends, the lid was put onto the rice. It has about 60 minutes left. When it has about 10 minutes left, we're going to begin, maybe like 5 minutes left, we're going to begin the stir frying. So, this is why we had to get all of the prep done ahead of time and in advance, my friends. Oh, you want to get on how to properly sharpen knives. So, signori, if you have really nice knives, you're going to have to learn how to use whetstones, especially Japanese knives that need like a very high grit. I am not an expert in this. This is not something I'm particularly qualified for. I get my knives professionally sharpened every so often. Okay, I hope that helps. But I would learn how to use a whetstone. I would follow some people on YouTube. But this is not my field of expertise, and it is something I would like to get into soon. So, my friends, when we get to stir frying, I want you to understand the sheer amount of ingredients that we actually have. Okay? I want you to understand how many different little components we have going into everything. And if your knives are bad, feel free to use like a tofu sharpener, but those kind of suck. I want you all to see and really conceptualize why this was important. Imagine, so this stir-fried pork, in total, it's only going to take 5 to 6 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes total. Imagine we were chopping all of this stuff up and prepping it and measuring it before we actually got to the cooking portion. Or during the cooking portion, rather. Imagine we were stir-frying this pork that takes 5 minutes, and we have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things. And then we have this ground pork that's already measured out, and this coriander too. Okay? What can I use instead of peanut oil? Yes, you can use vegetable oil, you can use canola oil. These are called neutral oils. Excellent question, Frost. So, get this prep done ahead of time, and you will thank yourself. You will absolutely thank yourself later. So, here's the order of operations, everybody. I don't have a wok. Unfortunately, I do not have a wok. We're going to be doing things in this super, super big stainless steel pan. This is my nice Mavier pan. And so here's the goal. Here's the goal. First, it's going to be the pork. First, it's all going to be about the pork. Okay? This bad boy right here. This is coarsely ground pork. I have about 1 pound of it. I might not use all of it. We'll see how much I feel like using. Coarsely ground pork from my local Chinese supermarket. Okay? Really delicious, super fatty. It's going to get nice and crispy. Next, we have these scallion whites. You see these scallion whites, these big boys? These are going to fry. I want some nice crunchy scallions in there. And then, once the scallions go in, we're going to add some of the garlic ginger. Make the whole thing really nice and aromatic, really beautiful. Then, we're going to toss in the spices, just for a little bit. We don't want to burn the spices. And just before they burn, we're going to go in with all of this. This is the soy sauce. This is the Shaoxing wine. And this is also the tobanjan, aka the chili bean paste, the chili broad bean paste. And then it's going to cook a little bit more. It's going to cook more. We're going to add some cornstarch, which we're about to thicken with some water. Okay? And this is going to help give the whole thing a nice glossiness. Because otherwise, it's just going to be kind of split and oily. And then at the end, we're going to add some of this, some chili crisp, encased in beautiful chili oil. And then we're going to finish it with the coriander and the fresh scallion greens as well, my friends. That is why we get it prepped done ahead of time. That is why we do everything in advance. And that is why we're going to be ready to cook once the timer hits about 8 minutes or so. Once it hits about 8, 7 minutes, that's when we'll begin. Because once this is going, this is a train that does not stop. Okay? And I'm going to show you the beauty of it. Okay, everybody, number one thing. I don't have a wok. And the beauty of a wok is it has a conical shape. What does that mean? Well, think about it. When you have a wok and you have a conical shape like this, and let's say it's filled with oil, it's a lot easier to get a deeper thing of oil in something that's conical or spherical as opposed to a flat bottom pan. The beauty of a wok is that you're able to really easily fry things in it. We're putting the fry in the stir fry. My friends, I do not think it is possible to have a stir fry without fat. It is not possible. The goal isn't for your ingredients to come into that much contact with the metal. You want it to come in contact with the pan and to fry on that pan. It's supposed to be greasy. It's supposed to be oily. You can take it out after because it's functional. And the beauty of a wok is it lets you use less oil and still gives you a deeper pool of oil because of the natural shape of it. I don't have that. I have a flat bottom pan, so I have to make it a little bit more oily in order to compensate. There's going to be some fat that is naturally released from the pork. And as a binding agent, no, Dex. Not really. Only for like thickening and for like crisping, but not like a binding agent. No. Ugh. Just adjusting my hair really quickly before we get started. So we need a lot of oil. We need to properly fry the pork. And we're not looking to steam the pork. I want to fry it. I want to develop some proper browning on it. I want to get some good color developed on it, my friends. The number one mistake that people do is they don't have enough oil when they try to sear their meats, when they sear their ground meats, and it releases a bunch of liquid and it's not frying. The goal is to fry it. This is a stir fry. I cannot emphasize this to you enough. This was inspired by two dishes, mapo tofu and the Cumin lamb noodles. So this is a dish of my own creation. If this goes poorly, it might just go poorly. And you know what? We'll just live and be okay with it. Before we do begin though, let's go back to my overhead camera really quickly. And we're going to finish up everything for the seasoning that I'm adding into the rice itself, okay? So my friends, this is all of the fried onion, the garlic, and the ginger, and some of the scallion greens. Now the pan is properly cooled down. I'm gonna add in the rest of the scallion greens, just so that this is ready to go, exactly for when we need it. And these big scallion greens is gonna go into the pork, okay? So those scallion greens, and then we're adding a whole bunch of coriander into this rice. And the rest of this coriander is going to go ahead and finish it off. And yes, Cappy, I do have a YouTube channel. Scroll down or go into my About section, and that is where you will find a YouTube channel where I post every single one of the VODs 3 times a week. And guys, this stream happens 3 times a week. We're doing this on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, all at 5 p.m. Eastern time. This Sunday is going to be a different timing, heads up. I think we're going to do something around 1 p.m. this Sunday. 1 p.m. Eastern time. I just have to make some adjustments, just to have some stuff going on, but typically 5 p.m. 3 times a week, okay? Okay, so this is going to be the seasoning for the rice itself, my friends. I'm just going to mix this through, and whenever the rice is done, we're going to go ahead and throw it in, mix it in, and I'm going to show you how lovely it's all going to get, okay? We cooled it down so that the coriander didn't wilt too much. We should make a YouTube command? Okay, we'll do that after Munha. Thank you for the heads up. That's a good idea. And again, I don't want this to be too salty or anything. I just want this to give the rice some aroma. And I got this t-shirt at a Hot Topic 3 years ago. It's pretty embarrassing. So this, full of herbs, full of the garlic, full of the ginger, full of the onions, it's gonna make the rice a little bit sweet. It's gonna give it a little bit of fat. It's gonna make it nice and herbaceous, okay? This I'm setting aside. And we got about 8 minutes left on the rice. I would still wait. I would personally still wait. We're gonna wait until 5 minutes left to actually mix the rice in with the stuff, okay? We're gonna wait. So 3 more minutes. Everybody, any more questions? Because once we get frying, we're gonna be frying, okay? It's gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be a whole process. I'm seeing if there's anything else I can put away in the meantime, some easy things I can wipe down. I see a few. Ugh. Because remember, this is a home cooking show. So you have to clean as you go in a home setting. Okay, go to my cutting board. I have all of my stuff ready. I have everything prepped. The only thing I do need to do though is we just need to add a little splash of water into the cornstarch. You don't really have to measure it too much. We're just adding like, I don't know, 2 teaspoons, basically twice as much water to the cornstarch. What do we use to make it spicy? We're using chili crisp. If there's too much liquid, does it steam? Does more oil help? Yes, oil is just going to help it to continuously fry in spite of all of the liquid that gets released. Okay, so we're doing like 2 teaspoons of water. And as for like the spice itself, it's gonna be the tobanjan, ducky, which is the broad bean chili paste, the fermented broad bean chili paste, as well as the, oh my God, I forgot. The laganma, that's right, the chili crisp. Okay, this is going to be the thickening, okay? Make sure you don't do this too much ahead of time, otherwise you just have to keep like mixing it back up. This is what we use to bring it all together to get it nice and glossy at the end, okay? So, how would I cook a ribeye steak not super thick? I would do it on a carbon steel pan. Now here's the thing. I find that the bone in a ribeye steak is actually very annoying in a home setting because if you have a pan, the sides of it kind of interfere with the bone and it can be a little difficult to get like a full contact. I don't like doing bone in ribeye steaks for that reason. All it does is it kind of slowly insulates and distributes the heat, but then you get raw meat closer to the bone. I do all my steaks without a bone. I do all my steaks boneless, okay? So that's what I would do, Daramgar. I would take it off the bone and I would do it on a super, super hot carbon steel pan. A few minutes per side. You would flip it often to make sure and move it around often to make sure there's an even constant sear. And that'll be perfect. Okay, I'm putting all of my stuff on my countertop that's closer to my stove now. And can you substitute the chili crisp and the bean paste? That's a good question. This is not an official recipe I'm doing, Jack. If you were doing traditional mapo tofu, no, these are kind of essential. Is there a difference in cooking a Wagyu steak? Yes, Ducky, because I do my Wagyu steaks. I mean, I've never done a Wagyu steak. I would do it almost completely raw, so you keep most of the fat inside. I would cook it blue. I would cook all of my Wagyu and I would ask for it blue. Okay? That's what it's called, when it's essentially raw on the inside. So, my friends, it's time. You know what time it is? It's time to heat up the pan. We're going to the stove. This is my big Mavier stainless steel pan. Big boy, that's a big boy. Okay? So, we're gonna fill it up with peanut oil. How much? In total, a quarter cup. You know what, I'm gonna measure it. I wanna visualize what a quarter cup on this pan looks like. If not a little bit more, but a quarter cup of oil will be good. Do I have a quarter cup measuring cup somewhere? Is that even something I own? Am I gonna do that or am I not gonna do that? I don't think I wanna do that. I think that's cringe. It's cringe, we're not doing it. Okay, we want enough oil that it's properly coating the bottom. I do not mess around. My friends, you don't have to eat all the oil, but you have to understand its function. The beauty of a wok is that it will let you use less oil in something like this. But you need this much oil in order to make sure that your pork is properly frying. We wanted to stir fry. We wanted to essentially pseudo deep fry. And the beauty of a wok is that it's going to be nice and deep. Also, thank you, Rabbit, for stopping by. Hope you have a lovely night. So, we got to heat this bad boy up. We want to get it to essentially smoking hot. It's going to splatter, it's going to splash, such is the reality of cooking and frying things at a home setting, especially when you have meat. Guess what? Meat is wet. It's going to splash. It just will happen. You have to be ready for it. Okay? So we're going to use, I don't think I'm going to use all that pork. I'm looking at it. We'll see. We'll figure it out. I don't like being too exact with my measurements. We want to get this oil smoking hot. And we're heating it up not on a high heat, but on a medium heat. And I'm going to explain to you why. You heat it up on a high heat and you will have hot spots. You will have hot spots. You'll have a zone where it's perfectly heated and a part where it's over and a part where it's under. Heat it up on a medium heat and you will ensure that even on a small burner, even on a small pan like this, okay, it will evenly heat up. That's a lot of oil in there. It's going to splash. It's just going to happen. You have to be ready for it. Put on a different shirt. Put on an apron if you like that. Not me though. I'm not an apron guy. I don't like those. They feel uncomfortable. Is that specific to gas stoves? This is specific to all stoves. All stoves will give you hot spots except for the induction ones. But induction ones, you really don't want to turn up the heat too high anyways. Some water splashed on my nose. Okay, order of operations. So we don't really need to add too much salt to the stir fry because the soy sauce, the tobanjan, the liaojiu, and the chili crisp, all of those are individually salty components that are going to impart their saltiness into the dish itself. So I'm not too crazy about it. Adding more, but then you can always adjust it at the end as much as needed. So first step, fry the pork. Once the pork is fried, we fry the scallions. After the scallions, we fry the garlic ginger, and then we fry the spices for just a second, and we add in the wet ingredients, aka the soy sauce and the tobanjan and the liaojiu. We add a little bit of water if we feel like it's getting too dry, and then we add some cornstarch to thicken the whole thing up. We finish it with the chili crisp. We finish with everything. And yes, Jack, I would wear like a custom apron if it was made with like my bodily proportions in mind. Okay? So, that oil, I'm telling you, I want it hot. I want that oil hot and I want it ready. I want it to be smoking hot. The goal is to build up a proper crust on this pork. And we want a generous amount of oil in this pan. Okay, we're not messing around. We're not looking for slight smoke, we're looking for a medium amount of smoke. If it's too hot, it will catch on fire. What will my ideal last meal include, Ducky? I want rice and I want beans. I want rice and beans. It's my favorite food for a reason. Okay, the rice actually has, speaking of rice, has about 2 minutes left on it. In fact, I might even just finish the rice before I get to stir frying. So I'm turning down the heat on the oil just to make sure it doesn't overheat in this time. Yeah, we have about like 30 seconds left on the rice. So I'm turning down the heat on that and we'll do that really quickly. I'm going to show you how we finish the rice, my friends. Super easy. Super, super simple. Okay. That station is ready. It's ready to go. And we timed everything correctly because when I get stir frying, I just want to be able to move through that whole process. Okay. Yeah, that oil is beginning to smoke slightly. Again, I like preheating things on a medium heat for something like this. The rice is just about ready. Okay, my friends, take a look. I want you to take a look. This is what I call the perfect homemade stovetop rice. This is the perfect homemade stovetop rice. It's steaming, I know it is. Please forgive me. But there it is. Okay, Cappy, thank you for stopping by. Look at it. Look at the texture of it. It's perfect. We don't use rice cookers in chat. We don't use it here. Okay? So, let's break it up a little first. Let's create essentially, I'm just checking on my oil, make sure it's not too hot at the moment. And then we're dumping in all the cilantro, all the scallions, all the garlic, and all the ginger. This is a slightly overfilled saucepan. We're going to try our best to make sure nothing really spills out of it. It smells beautiful. Natalie, how's that smell? Can you smell it? Smells pretty good, doesn't it? Great. And now, we're going to try our best not to really mush it in. Having a big bowl for this is going to be pretty ideal. But again, I like doing the seasoning outside of it and then bringing it together so it doesn't squelch on the bottom or anything. Oh, that does smell really fucking good. It's going to be super nice with the stir fry. And then, okay? And then we're going to let it basically sit and soak everything up and let the cilantro soften a little bit. Let all the herbs come together, my friends. How's my oil doing? Okay, my oil is not overheating, which is good. We're just going to keep an eye on it with this in the meantime. Okay. Oh, beautiful. I'm going to have a little taste. I'm going to sneak a little taste. Again, not salty, but intentionally so, because we want the stir fry to be salty, and we want that to provide all the saltiness for this. Look at the texture. Perfect. That is the perfect texture, my friends. All done with the stovetop. No need for a rice cooker. You know why? Because I'm different. People that have been growing up and making rice their whole lives have not been able to make stovetop rice as good as me. My friends, it's all about the amount of water. It's all about not stirring it. It's all about having a tight lid. That's all that it's about, baby. And look at this. Look at this. You wish this was you right now. Not the one making the rice. You wish you were the rice. You wish you were... What would you say, Natalie? Getting folded in with cilantro must feel so good. Something like that. Okay. That is perfect for me. I'm going to now just pack it in nice and tight. Right? Oh, that's based. That's so good. Okay. I'm just going to pop the lid back on. And I'm going to just keep this over the stove. And we're going to let it steam the last 5 minutes of just letting it sit together and letting it all soak up. Okay, my friends. You know what time it is? It's time to begin the great stir frying of 2024. We have officially added in the oil. The oil is smoking hot. Remember, the pork is going to help to cool it down somewhat as soon as it gets added in. Okay? I'm going to go in probably, we'll do all the pork. All the pork going in now. Mix it in, my friends, and let it fry in that oil. I do mean it fry. Not in a dry pan. No, this has so much oil in it for a good reason. Turn up the heat because we just lost a lot of heat, adding in cold pork into a hot pan. It's a little crowded. I should have done less pork, I think, but that's okay. It's going to be great. Just break it up, make sure you don't have any big pieces. And we're turning up the heat because, again, it cooled down as soon as we added the pork. We're frying it, my friends. I do mean it. I might have overcrowded it, but that's okay. And you want to break it up now before it's too late, before you get massive clumps. Hopefully, I didn't crowd it so much that it's just going to boil now instead of fry. Because otherwise, my entire rant would have been for nothing. High heat now. Let it go and let it do its thing. Oh, hi, Umbra. Welcome on in. So, the pork is going, my friends. You can hear it sizzling away. You can hear it frying beautifully. We're trying to get this nice and brown. I think I added too much and I overcrowded my pan. I should have trusted my instincts before I did it, but that's okay. Yeah, it is now simmering slightly. That's okay. It'll be okay. Not ideal. What happened just now was not ideal. It's not frying as much as I would have liked it to because I overcrowded it and I cooled down my pan too much and now it's released its liquid. Right? You can hear the sound of it actually physically changing over the course of this. I'm a little annoyed at myself. That's not the stir fry that I was really looking for, but that's okay. Hi, Zabe. Welcome on in. Welcome on. So again, not the fry I'm looking for. Everybody, I apologize for how much hype I gave it. And this is a nice lesson to not overcrowd a pan. That's all that this really is. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to evaporate some of the liquid as this goes. It's gonna slightly dry out the pork, but it's okay because it's going to be encased in a lovely, beautiful sauce. We're going to try and evaporate this liquid. So you hear how it's simmering? We're going to just crank up the heat now and let it evaporate. I'm annoyed at myself because you know why? I had a gut instinct and I decided to reject my gut instinct. And now there's going to be less of a stir fry and more of a stir steam, unless we have to like slightly overcook it in order to evaporate some of the liquid and develop some browning. So again, my friends, not ideal, not based. Take this as a lesson. This happens all the time at home. It's not going to ruin the dish, just the taste is not going to be as deep as we would have liked it to be. Okay? That's okay. It happens. If only there was a wok to help, absolutely. A wok would have been so good here, the vessel. But even a wok doesn't like being overcrowded. I just overcrowded my pan. That's all that really happened here. That's it. Don't overcrowd your pans, but it's okay. We're evaporating all the liquid. It'll be okay. It'll work out. We're just making sure to get rid of any of the super big lumps that are left over. And we're trying to render some of the fat too, okay? Yeah, a little too wet. I really did just overcrowd it. That's all that happened. I know I keep repeating myself. So doing it in batches would be a little complicated because you would end up developing a little too much fond. Also, John, that's a good idea. I should figure out what wok I would use next time. Yes, and I would use less pork. I would just use less pork. Doing stuff in batches is really good, except sometimes for things like meat, because it kind of tends to develop too much fond and like browning on the bottom, and the pan can burn really easily that way. So some things are really good in batches. I would actually argue this is not my favorite thing to do in batches. So, my friends, you can hear the sound of it. The music of cooking is super important, the sound of it. That's sort of slightly more mid-end, not a high-end pss, but like a slightly lower-end psh, is telling us that that's water evaporating. Okay? That's the difference between it frying in oil and the difference between water evaporating. It's a very, very huge difference in what is actually happening here. So we're going to end up slightly drying out the pork, but it's okay because it's going to be served with rice and encased in a very slight sauce. Okay? It's going to be okay. The pork is essentially fully cooked, but all we're doing is we're evaporating the liquid now. And then once that's the case, and once we see like a lot of the fat melt away, we're going to throw in the scallion whites. We're going to try to fry those a little bit, the best that we can. And we're going to throw in the garlic ginger, and we're going to throw in the spices, and it's all going to work out. And you can hear the sound of it is slightly changing. It's getting a little bit more higher pitch. It's getting a little bit more higher end. That's telling us that the water is evaporating, and it's beginning to fry in all of its own fat again. Okay? And it's starting to hiss when we move it around. The liquid is becoming cloudy. Right? All that I did was I overcrowded the pan, and now I'm suffering the consequences from it. That's all. And I think I needed some more oil still, but that's okay. So, everybody, what I'm just showing you right now is sometimes things in the kitchen just happen. It happens. And you're going to have to just adjust, and you're going to have to get used to it, and you're going to have to learn how to roll with the punches, okay? You're going to have to learn how to roll with the punches. And it's okay for things to sometimes go wrong, because not everything going wrong is going to lead to it being ruined. In this case, I'm making a trade-off. Because I didn't get enough color or sear in the beginning, right? I had two choices. Do I make this slightly juicier in exchange for losing some of that like fried pork flavor? Or do I go the other end, try to evaporate some of the liquid, get a slightly drier pork in exchange for flavor? And that's the compromise I'm making. It's not going to be ruined. It's going to be a little bit different than I have originally envisioned. Okay? Oh yeah, that is now frying in its own fat. You can see the liquid is getting nice and clear. Once it's clear, you know that that's the fat we're talking about. And the smell is now filling up the kitchen. Okay? That is why we have to have a very good understanding of what are the things that we can go wrong, troubleshoot and understand the kinds of compromises that we can make, my friends. That is the beauty of cooking. That is the beauty of cooking. And this is what recipes don't tell you. This is what recipes do not teach you at all. They say stir fry this for 2 to 3 minutes. What does that mean? What if what just happened here went down? You're going to end up getting a completely different product. And so what I'm teaching you how to do is how to adapt and improvise. Okay? Okay, we're almost there. We can hear it sizzling away. Perfect. And all the oil and all that beautiful pork fat is now pooling to the bottom. And now, my friends, it is beginning to fry properly. It's going. And this is just basically a bunch of unsalted pork. We're going to have some salty components going in here, but I think we need a little hit of it. Just a little bit. Not too much, okay? We'll have plenty of salt going in. And then now it does begin to slightly stick. We just want to make sure that we're scraping up anything that could be potentially stuck to the bottom. And when the more you stir it, the more you do cool down your pan. So we're just trying to stir it only enough to incorporate the salt evenly and scrape up whatever is stuck to the sides and the bottom, but not much more past that. Ah. Pork naturally salty? I don't think so. No. I don't agree with it. Really nice and porky, really nice and fatty. Okay, it's getting there, it's frying, it's bubbling away in its own fat, it's cooking in its own fat, and it's rendering out its own fat. Normally this process would only take 2 to 3 minutes if we did it correctly, but now we're doing that sort of compensated method where I talk about the evaporation of everything, right? And we're getting all of this beautiful pulled up pork fat that everything else is going to end up cooking in. Not an issue at all. Natalie, do you think it's an issue? It's not an issue. Okay, it's getting there. It's getting there. We're getting there. After this is done, we're going to pull up the pork on one side. We're going to add the scallions on the other. We're going to fry the scallions in a pork fat. We're going to fry the garlic ginger. We're going to add in the spices. We're going to add in the liquid components and thicken it all up together. And in the meantime, the rice is perfectly done. Okay? It's all coming together, baby. It's all coming together exactly the way that it needs to. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say any meat, even like seafood is, I wouldn't even say it's naturally salty. The only ones that would be naturally salty would be things like bacon because they were encased in salt. But things like guanciale and pancetta and stuff. That would all be naturally salty. Okay, it's getting there, it's crackling, right? It's not steaming, it's not going psh, it's crackling away. Okay, a few more minutes and then we'll add in the scallions. I'm gonna have a little treat. You know, even as it is, freshly just like cooked ground pork with some salt, it's good. But that's still all the way before the flavor and everything else that we've added to it. Okay. Move it around a little bit. Oh yeah, we're getting there. Slowly but surely, we are achieving what we wanted to achieve with the pork. Thank you for your patience, everybody. I do apologize for the fact that some stuff went wrong. Does anybody have any questions in the meantime? Does anybody have anything they want to say to me? Do I play Minecraft, Chef Jack? I kind of used to. I used to play a lot when I was younger. Now I just go on my, like, every 2 months or 3 months, I play for like a week and then I stop. But I only play vanilla. I only play vanilla Minecraft. Okay, I'm not a mod guy. I hate mods. I don't think there's enough stuff in Minecraft to keep me entertained. All I do is I dig tunnels and I dig holes and call it a day. That's how I play Minecraft. I hate building. I just like my stupid little tasks of mining. I don't like the combat. I don't like the PvP. I just like mining. I play Minecraft in the purest way imaginable. I make beautiful, expansive strip mines. And that's about it. Okay. Almost done, my friends. Doug, how do I cook bacon in a pan? Pink Eggo, I always started off on a cold pan to slowly render out the fat. Cold pan, slowly render out the fat, and low heat, and be nice and patient with it. That's what I do. You came from the radio enjoying this? I'm glad you're enjoying this. Okay. Woo, it's popping at me now. Okay, guess what? We've now gotten some of that delicious browned pork developed. Okay. And you can see all the pork fat is now beautifully releasing, and it's seared up nicely. I don't want to push this too far because I don't want to get like super dry granules of pork or anything. So, now my friends, we're going to go in, we're going to turn up the heat one more time. We're going to go in with the scallion whites, the scallion greens. We're going to finish it at the end. We just want to slightly fry up these scallion whites, okay? We want to get them nice and soft. Just for a second separated, and then we'll mix it all in together. A little crowded my pan is getting, but it's okay. And we'll mix it all up, and it's going to be good. Come on, buddy. All of it's going in now. Lovely, some just big bites of scallion whites. That's what I really, really wanted in there, right? Just to be able to crunch into it. Ideally, I should have had some more scallion in retrospect, but live and learn. And yeah, you could do this in batches in terms of like you take out the pork and then you add it in after you do the scallions, but I think it'll be okay. I just want to make sure that the scallion is not like on top of the pork. I want to make sure that it's on the bottom and coming into like full contact and like frying in the fat properly. Okay? It's getting there, it's happening. Not as quickly as I would have liked, but it's okay. Once the scallions are where we want them, we'll add the garlic and the ginger. We'll fry that up a little bit. Then we'll add the spices. We'll toast that slightly. And we'll add in the wet ingredients. It's going to be good. We just don't want a raw bite of scallion white. We just want to cook out some of it. We want to fry it a little bit, and then it's going to basically boil in those wet ingredients that we're going to add to it. Okay? I don't know if I'm going to add all the spice mixture that we made, but we'll see how I feel about it later. All the while, I'm going to try my rice, see how that's been going in the meantime, because that's just been steaming away slightly. That rice is delicious. Super yummy. Okay. Scallions are almost there. We're just slightly frying them. They're going to still steam away. More than anything, scallions cook quickly. I just still want them to have a nice bite to them. I want to be able to crunch into them. I just don't want a raw scallion completely. Okay? And they're going to be cooking more through this process. I'm going to be adding the garlic and the ginger in just a second, mighty Contria. Okay? So that's going. That's going. That's going. That's going. Beautiful. It's all frying away really, really nicely. The pork got really nice and crispy through this process. Okay? I want to do ground pork because, again, I got really inspired by the ground pork in the mapo tofu. And I love the texture of it, and I really wanted to recreate that. Okay. That, to me, is perfectly fine. I don't want it to go any further. Now, we do the garlic and ginger. This, my friends, is going to be a very short cook on the garlic and ginger. We stir this around. We keep it constantly moving. We cook this for around 30 seconds to a minute. We keep it constantly moving. The garlic and the ginger is really susceptible to burning. It's going to make the whole thing nice and aromatic, but you have to give it the respect that it deserves. Okay? So get it in there, incorporate it, flatten it, and mix it through. Mix it through everything. Oh, the smell is now really, really infusing. The aroma is getting into the oil. Again, just scrape it up, keep it moving. You don't want the garlic and ginger to be too still for too long, because that's how it burns. Okay? Just a few seconds longer, and it's going to be ready to go, my friends. Fresh seaweed, I do not. No, John, I've never cooked with fresh seaweed in my life before. Okay, that is the perfect point. Now, we're going to do the majority of the spice blend that I made. The Sichuan peppercorns, the coriander, and of course, the cumin and the white pepper. That is now hitting the pan, and this has already been toasted. This burns even easier than the garlic and the ginger does. So this, you don't want to give it too much time in here. In fact, a little bit more. I'm not using all of it. Okay, in just a few seconds. Mix it around, keep it moving. Make sure it's not burning, make sure it's not scorching. And now, my friends, we do the wet ingredients. That's the liaoju, or the Shaoxing wine. That's the dark soy sauce going in. And that's going to stop everything from searing and stop everything from burning ASAP. Okay? Everything is coming together now beautifully. Mix it through, incorporate it. Make sure that the liquid is all over the place. We just want to basically cook this off and reduce it for just a second. Fry it off for just a second. And we're sort of flattening the scallions to make sure that it's evenly distributing through everything. We're popping it out. Oh, that smells excellent. That looks great, it smells great. We're deglazing it, we're scraping up anything that might have stuck to the bottom during the process. We're giving it a second. We're giving it one little second to just cook on a lower heat. It does look really good, doesn't it? I think it looks quite good at the moment. Natalie, does it smell good? Do you smell it? It smells good? Good. Okay, you don't want to burn the soy sauce. You don't want to over-reduce it or anything. You just want to fry it off for a second, okay? So that it's not completely raw tasting. Fry it off for a second, and now we're completely lowering the heat. We're completely lowering the heat here, my friends. And now we're adding the cornstarch. We don't want to scorch the cornstarch. This cornstarch is going to help make the whole thing really nice and viscous together, right? Because we don't want it to be, we don't want it to just be falling off the pork or anything. We just want to make sure that cornstarch is evenly incorporated now. Stir it up, stir it up, stir it up. Keep it agitated, keep it moving. This is going to help bring the whole dish together. Okay? Perfect. Lovely, in fact. And now, we can basically keep it on the super low heat for a few minutes longer, for a few moments longer. We're just letting the cornstarch do its thing. Right? It brought the whole thing together. And I don't want a sauce. I don't want this to be saucy. I just wanted it to come together. And now I'm doing my laganma, my chili crisp, with the chili oil. And I'm mixing it through, and we're going to shut off the heat now, my friends. We're shutting off the heat. We're mixing it through. We're shutting off the heat. Everything is just about done. We just want to heat that through slightly, get it dissolved into the oil. The heat is off at the stage. I'm going to give it a little taste before we add anything else. I just want to see where it's at. I want to see if it needs any more cook time. Okay. Oh, I'll answer that question in a second about the grilled cheese. I just want a second taste. Oh my God. That's so good. That is delicious. You know, I think I regretted adding that little bit of salt. Okay, and now it's full of all this flavor. Now we give it some freshness, some scallions, all of those scallion greens. Remember those scallion greens? Oh wait, I want to save some for garnish. Whoops. I'm taking some of those back. Come back. And then the coriander. The coriander, I don't want garnish. I just want that in there. That is going to lighten the whole thing up. Okay? Off the heat. We throw in all of those herbs, my friends. We make the whole thing just a little bit lighter. Look at that beautiful pork. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. There it is. That's exactly what I had in mind. Actually, minus the initial hiccup that we had with the stir frying portion of this. That is a beautiful pork stir fry. My friends, we did it. Let's plate. Is everybody ready to plate? Let's plate this up. I'm going to show you all how it looks like when it's all together. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the rice meme. You know what that means? We're going to put it on a plate with a little bowl. It is food. Hi, Clementine. Welcome in. So, my friends, we're going to do the rice meme. We're going to take a little bowl. We're going to fill it up with rice. My beautiful coriander rice, my seasoned rice. Not just any ordinary rice. Okay. The rice is really yummy. Really tasty stuff. Okay, my friends. My coriander rice. I'm just going to flip it over onto a little thing like this. Yes, it is. Okay, so some of my coriander rice, and then, my friends, some of this beautiful pork that we made. And I'm gonna do a little recap about everything that went into this beautiful dish. We're going to pile some on top of both here. All right. I have some more scallion in here that I just want inside. There we go. It's not, guys, not the prettiest plate. Not the prettiest plate in the world. I know that for a fact, but it's okay. It's gonna be okay, I promise. Let's see if we can salvage this. Let's see if we can make this any prettier at all. Okay. And now, let's finish it with some more scallion greens on top. Nice and fresh. It's not that pretty of a plate, it's okay. Everybody, but guess what? It's full of flavor. We've done it. This is a dish of my own creation. I had two inspirations. Mapo tofu and some lamb cumin noodles. So we made our own toasted spice mix, everybody. Sichuan peppercorns, cumin, white pepper, coriander seeds, toasted it, ground it up. Garlic, ginger, we minced it up. Okay, we had a pound of pork. We took it, we stir-fried it in some oil. Then we added in the scallion whites, some big chunks of scallions. Okay, then we added in the garlic ginger, then we added in the toasted spice mix. We deglazed it with dark soy sauce, Shaoxing wine, okay, and tobanjian, which is a chili bean paste. And then we went ahead and we added some laganma. We thickened it with some cornstarch, and we finished it with fresh coriander and fresh scallions. The rice, we fried some onions, we fried some garlic, we fried some ginger, we put some scallions, some coriander, and we folded it into some freshly made haiga rice. And then we garnished the whole thing with some fresh scallions. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Let's have a beautiful bite of my creation. This is a dish of my own invention with a couple of big inspirations. Let's see what it does for me. That is lovely. That is intense. That is spicy. That is numbing from the Sichuan peppercorns. That is really delicious. Whoa. 8 out of 10, and 8 because I messed up on the texture of the pork. But really good. Natalie, do you want to try some? Want to try some on camera? Okay. That's a big spoonful, I know.
Oh, wow.
No. Pretty tight? That's pretty tight. Did I just give you two? Was it hot? Oh no. Did I just scorch your mouth? It's fine. It was pretty tight.
It really tastes like the peppercorns.
Yeah? Yeah, the Sichuan peppercorns is just numbing. It's great. It's pretty tight. Would I add more cornstarch? No, no. I don't want this to be like too thick or viscous or anything. I like the oiliness of it and everything. Sorry if I burnt your mouth again. We had food earlier and she might have burnt her mouth on it. It's okay. I'm gonna have another taste of this. That is good. Oh my God. No such thing as too many scallions. Okay, everybody, guess what? That was a stream, that was a dish. If anybody has any final questions, ask now. Or if we ever hold your peace until Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I appreciate every single one of you. It was lovely having all of you. Next stream is gonna be 1 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. Everybody, if you can, I wanna keep these streams free for everybody to watch, for everybody to consume. Help subsidize the cost of all of these on my Patreon. So go to !Patreon and scroll down and go to the About section to really help out with that. Was the best tasting dish I made in the past week? It was the tlacoyos. The tlacoyos that I made on Wednesday were amazing. This is really good. I'm pretty excited about this. Okay. Thank you so much for all the new people that stopped by from the grade. I hope to see you again next time. Once again, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Let's go ahead and see who is currently live on Twitch. We're gonna go ahead and give them a little grade, my friends. Let's see. T is live. We'll go ahead and grade T. Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that. Okay. Wait, Chef, I forgot to make you dinner. I apologize. I won't do it again. I'll do it next time. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here. 1 p.m. Eastern time this Sunday is when I will see you next. Check the announcement on Twitter. Go to my Discord. You know, go to my Discord. Go to my Twitter to see the details about it because we don't know what we're doing yet. And now, let's go ahead and grade T. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you all next time. and just have a wonderful rest of your Friday night. Goodbye, my little pog champs. That's you, my little Sue champs. Oh wait, that's